Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles. Chapter 2987. Boss, this is his. The white-eyed wolf casually threw a Qianquan bag to Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang caught it in his hand and looked down. What should we do with this pile of meat? The white-eyed wolf and a group of beasts surrounded the purple-clothed young man's meat and discussed. What else can we do? Grind his bones and scatter his ashes. The big black wolf said angrily. Divine power emerged and slowly destroyed the purple-clothed young man's flesh and blood. Bastard, try to provoke us again. Immediately. A group of beasts ran to Qin Feiyang and the mermaid princess while cursing. Boss, how is it? Did you find any valuable treasures? The three black leopard brothers laughed. After rescuing the mermaid princess, not only Qin Feiyang, but they were also in a good mood. Just some soul stones, divine crystals, some herbs, divine weapons. Qin Feiyang shook his head, but when he said this, he was slightly stunned. Immediately after, he took out a badge from his Qianquan ring. This badge was the size of a baby's fist. It was overflowing with light as if it was cast from gold foil. There was a divine dragon pattern on it. Everyone looked at the badge curiously. Divine dragon pattern? What was this? Could it be this person's identity badge? But shouldn't an identity badge have a name? But there was nothing on it except for the divine dragon pattern. Wait! The white-eyed wolf suddenly said in surprise, don't you feel that there seems to be a mysterious aura in this badge? Mysterious aura? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Yes. The white-eyed wolf nodded and released his divine sense to cover the badge. But the next moment, its body and mind trembled as if it had been hit by an invisible heavy blow. It spat out a mouthful of old blood. Brother Wolf, you, Fire Qilin and the other beasts looked at the white-eyed wolf in surprise. Something's wrong. Seeing the white-eyed wolf's abnormal behavior, Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed. He also tried to release his divine sense into the badge. Boom! Immediately, he felt an imposing aura heading straight for his sea of consciousness. Puff! The next moment, like the white-eyed wolf, his body shook violently and he spat out a mouthful of blood. What's going on? Seeing Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf get hurt by the badge, the mermaid princess and the blood Kirin were shocked. Qin Feiyang wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and said in a deep voice, this badge shouldn't be an identity token. What could it be? The mermaid princess asked. I don't know. However, if this emblem is truly that important, I believe that Old Hai and the others will definitely not let this matter rest. Let's go. Qin Feiyang immediately put away the badge and sent the white-eyed wolf and the other beasts to the black tortoise realm. Then, he took the mermaid princess and used the walk formula to rush in the direction of the red-haired old man. Feiyang, are you worried that they will come for us? The mermaid princess asked. Yes. If they really come, then our situation is extremely bad. So, we must leave this space-time portal as soon as possible. Otherwise, if we are blocked by them, we will not be able to escape. Qin Feiyang said in a deep voice. About a moment later. Finally. A crack appeared in front of them. That should be the exit. Qin Feiyang looked at the crack and rushed out like a stream of light. After a few breaths, the two rushed out of the crack with a whoosh. Immediately, a surging ocean entered their line of sight. The sea was endless, the wind was howling, and giant wolves were rolling as if covering the sky. Ha! Qin Feiyang and the other man were astonished. Outside the exit, it was actually a sea. Looking down again, they found that there was a small island below the sea. The island was only a few miles long. The vegetation was lush, and in the center of the island, there was a towering giant mountain. At this moment, they were standing above the mountain peak. Turning their head again, the space-time portal was standing in the void behind them. This is the Sky Cloud Realm. The mermaid princess glanced at the magnificent sea around her, her eyes full of surprise. Who is disturbing this emperor's cultivation? Suddenly, an angry roar sounded. With the roar, a monstrous aura emerged from the island below. Qin Feiyang and the mermaid princess changed their expressions on the spot. This aura was definitely not below Old Hai and the red-haired old man. In other words, this beast was also a sovereign realm existence. They had just entered the Sky Cloud Realm, and they had already encountered such a powerful beast. How many experts were there in this land? Making a prompt decision, Qin Feiyang activated the concealment technique, took out the Divine Moon Jade Pendant, grabbed the mermaid princess, and hid in the void. At the next moment, a black little thing rushed to the top of the mountain, a pair of small eyes angrily staring at the space-time portal. Qin Feiyang and the mermaid princess were stunned. When they heard the roar before, they thought that it must be a very big and ferocious beast. Because the roar was too loud, it shook the blood in their body. But now, what ran up was a chopstick-sized rabbit. Its whole body was covered with white fluffy hair. His two dark eyes seemed to be extremely intelligent. Not only did it not look fierce, but it also looked very cute. Is this the owner of the roar? The couple looked at the little white rabbit with curiosity written on their faces. No one. The little rabbit murmured. Qin Feiyang transmitted his voice, that's right. This is its voice. Be careful. Suddenly, the little rabbit released its divine sense and shrouded the mountain peak. We won't be discovered, right? The mermaid princess said worriedly. With the Divine Moon Jade Pendant, we won't. Qin Feiyang nodded confidently. However, before his voice fell, the little rabbit's eyes turned and looked straight at the place where the two of them were. Qin Feiyang's heart trembled. They were discovered. But that was impossible. The Divine Moon Jade Pendant could block all searches and spies. You think you haven't been seen? What an idiot. The little rabbit suddenly showed a look of disdain. Ah! Qin Feiyang and the mermaid princess were stunned. They were really discovered. Come out, don't let this emperor make a move. If this emperor makes a move, then you will have to prepare a coffin. The little rabbit stood up on its hind legs and spoke in an overbearing manner as if it was an old man. Qin Feiyang and the mermaid princess looked at each other and couldn't help but smile bitterly. Then, they turned off their concealment technique and appeared in front of the little rabbit. The little rabbit looked at the two of them, then looked at the Divine Moon Jade Pendant in Qin Feiyang's hand and said indifferently, so it's made of heavenly domain divine stone. No wonder you are so bold and dare to stand in front of this emperor so openly. Qin Feiyang smiled bitterly, didn't we still not escape Senior's eyes? What a joke. Why don't you look at this emperor's cultivation? How can a mere heavenly domain divine stone escape this emperor's senses? The little rabbit smiled disdainfully, then looked at the two of them and asked, you should be from the lower realm, right? This, Qin Feiyang and the mermaid princess looked at each other. The little rabbit said, are you wondering how this emperor knows? The two of them nodded. Because of your ignorance. The heavenly domain divine stone can indeed hide your aura, but it can't escape the search of a dominator. The little rabbit said. What? Qin Feiyang was shocked. This matter, almost all the creatures in the Sky Cloud Realm know, but you still use the heavenly domain divine stone to hide it in front of this emperor. What does this mean? Isn't this the same as bearing the fact that you are from the lower realm? The little rabbit pouted. Thank you Senior for the reminder. Qin Feiyang cupped his hands. This didn't seem very important, but in fact, it was related to their life and death. Because if they didn't know this in advance and used the Divine Moon Jade Pendant to hide when they encountered a strong enemy, it was tantamount to courting death. Remind? The little rabbit was slightly stunned and frowned, are you stupid? Is this emperor reminding you? Qin Feiyang smiled embarrassedly. Today is really a bit lively. First it was those two old men, and now it's you. Those two old men are strong, this emperor can't keep them, but you too. Speaking of this, the little rabbit's eyes suddenly flashed with a fierce light. Qin Feiyang's pupils shrank and hurriedly said, "We didn't mean to disturb, I hope Senior can forgive us." "Yes. This is the first time we came to the Sky Cloud realm, so we didn't know you were cultivating here. If we have disturbed you, I hope Senior can forgive us." Mermaid Princess also hurriedly apologized. The little rabbit raised her eyebrows and said, "Just a word of forgiveness and you want to solve the matter? Then what do you want?" Qin Feiyang asked. His tone was a bit impatient. "Isn't this looking for trouble? This isn't your private territory, why can't others come here? What do I want?" The little rabbit smiled playfully, and a terrifying pressure suddenly rushed towards the two. The two's body shook, and a mouthful of blood rushed to their throat. "Don't go too far," Qin Feiyang said angrily. "So what if I'm bullying you? If you want this emperor to forgive you, take out the good wine. Don't tell me you don't have wine on you." The little rabbit said. "Ah." Qin Feiyang was stunned. Mermaid Princess was also stunned. "Good wine? What is this? Could it be that this little rabbit is also a drunkard?" The little rabbit said angrily, "What's with your eyes? Are you looking down on this emperor?" The pressure intensified. "No, no, no," Qin Feiyang hurriedly shook his head and said, "You should have said so earlier, isn't it just wine, what's the big deal?" The little rabbit was taken aback and asked, "Listening to your tone, you also like this?" "Yes, yes, yes, in this world, other than my wife, wine is something I like." Qin Feiyang hurriedly nodded. Mermaid Princess looked at Qin Feiyang strangely. "Why don't you blush when lying? Who doesn't know you don't drink?" "Wait. The people of the Sky Cloud realm didn't seem to know." "Really?" The little rabbit looked at Qin Feiyang. "More real than real gold." Qin Feiyang nodded. "Then why didn't you say so earlier? If you said you were a kindred spirit, why would this emperor make things difficult for you?" The little rabbit retracted its power and said with a smile, "Tell me, what good wine do you have?" Qin Feiyang was about to speak. The little rabbit said again, "I'm warning you, don't be like those brats a while ago, giving this emperor a few jars of trash, even using it to rinse my mouth, this emperor feels uncomfortable." "A while ago?" Qin Feiyang was stunned and asked suspiciously, "Which brats?" "They also came from the lower realm." The little rabbit said. Chapter 2988. They're from the lower realm. Qin Feiyang and the Mermaid Princess looked at each other. Could it be Li Feng and the others? Qin Feiyang asked, "May I ask what they look like?" The little white rabbit said, "Two humans and a heaven-defying divine artifact." Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and the figures of Li Feng, the mysterious young man, and the grey castle appeared. "It's them. At first, they said that it must be a peerless divine wine, but when I drank it, it tasted like horse urine. I was so angry that I beat them up." The little white rabbit sneered. "Beat them up?" Qin Feiyang was stunned. Li Feng was not that strong, and even the blood ancestor could not protect him against the little white rabbit. Moreover, although the grey castle was a heaven-defying divine artifact, it could only be beaten up by the little white rabbit. However, the mysterious young man was unfathomable. He had always been the one beating others, but the little white rabbit beat him up too. This surprised him a little. It was also a pity that he could not see the young man being beaten up. "Then where are they?" Qin Feiyang asked. "Of course, they're thrown into the sea to feed the fish." The little white rabbit said indifferently. Qin Feiyang's mouth twitched. He did not know if it was true or not, but it should not be so. "Why do you have so many questions?" Can you hurry up? The little white rabbit frowned, obviously starting to get impatient. This, Qin Fei Yang began to feel troubled again. He definitely had wine. Even if he did not have it on him, there were plenty in the black tortoise world. He originally planned to take out some wine to fool them, but when he heard that the young man and the others were beaten up, he could not help but feel a little guilty. He did not care about himself, but the mermaid princess could not be beaten up with him. Hurry up, are you testing my patience? The little white rabbit frowned and made a fierce look, but in the eyes of Qin Fei Yang, it was extremely cute. The mermaid princess said, I guess only the immortal wine can satisfy it. I think so too. But only Hui and Miss Immortal Wine have it. Where can I find it now? Qin Fei Yang was helpless. If he had known earlier, he would have dragged Hui along. Young master, I'll give it a jar of immortal wine. The voice of the five-clawed golden dragon suddenly sounded in Qin Fei Yang's mind. They were all watching from the black tortoise realm, so they knew what was happening outside. Qin Fei Yang stared blankly and hastily asked, You have the immortal intoxication? Yes. Before I left, I took a lot from Hui. The five-clawed golden dragon said. Qin Fei Yang slapped his head. How could he forget that this guy was also an alcoholic? He quickly transmitted a message to Qin Fei Yang, You are truly my savior. Quickly give me a jug. The next moment, a jar of heavenly immortal wine appeared in front of Qin Fei Yang. It looked funny. Because with its small body, it couldn't hold the wine jar with its two claws. This jar of immortal wine was also unopened. The little white rabbit looked at Qin Fei Yang and said, Kid, don't fool me, or you will have to go to the sea to feed the fish. I don't dare. Qin Fei Yang waved his hand. The little white rabbit waved its paw and opened the wooden lid of the wine jar. Originally, it didn't have much hope. How could a person from the lower realms have any good wine? But the moment it was opened, its eyes popped out. This wine aroma was too intoxicating. It couldn't wait to take a sip and immediately revealed an intoxicated expression. This immortal wine can be eaten in the sky cloud realm. Looking at the little white rabbit, Qin Fei Yang couldn't help but mutter. Originally, he didn't have much confidence. Because the immortal wine was a peerless divine wine, but this was the sky cloud realm. The sky cloud realm was stronger than the ancient realm, so there must be a lot of peerless divine wine. So in his opinion, the immortal wine might not be able to please the little white rabbit. But now, looking at the little white rabbit's reaction, it didn't seem to be what he thought. Not bad, not bad. Finally, I've encountered a decent jar of wine. The little white rabbit drank a few more mouthfuls and nodded with a smile. It's good that you like it. Qin Fei Yang laughed. The little white rabbit looked up at Qin Fei Yang and asked coldly, Is there more? Ah. Qin Fei Yang was stunned and shook his head. This kind of wine is already a rare treasure in our lower realms, so I only have one jar. Really? The little white rabbit didn't believe it. Qin Fei Yang nodded. The little white rabbit frowned. Why don't I believe it? If you don't believe me, you can check my universe ring. Qin Fei Yang said. Do you think I'm stupid? Why would you put such a good wine in a universe ring? If you want to put it, you should put it in a space divine object. The little white rabbit said. Qin Fei Yang smiled embarrassedly and said, Is this wine really good? The little white rabbit nodded and said, Even in the sky cloud realm, it's considered the best. Qin Fei Yang nodded and then glanced at the mermaid princess. If Miss Fairy comes here to open a restaurant, she will definitely make a lot of money. The mermaid princess could not help but laugh. Don't flirt in front of me. Is there more? I like honest people. The little white rabbit looked at the two with a fierce light in her eyes. Qin Fei Yang was about to speak. Boom! Suddenly, in the distant sea, two powerful auras rolled out. N. Qin Feiyang immediately looked up with a trace of surprise in his eyes. One of the auras seemed to be the sovereign divine weapon, the horsetail whisk. The other aura was even stronger than Old Hai and the red-haired old man. It seems that it's as you expected. The mermaid princess's face also sank slightly. The little white rabbit saw the changes in the expressions of the two, and a light flashed in her eyes. Your enemy. Qin Feiyang looked at the little white rabbit's eyes and felt that something was wrong. He smiled and said, we just came to the sky cloud realm, how could we have any enemies? Is that so? The little white rabbit smiled faintly. Qin Feiyang felt bitter in his heart. This little rabbit was really more clever than a ghost. In his heart, he was quite anxious. He had to leave immediately. Senior, the wine has been given to you. Can we go now? Qin Feiyang asked. Don't worry. The little white rabbit waved her paw and stopped the two, saying, since it's not an enemy, what are you afraid of? We are not afraid. Qin Feiyang said. Don't pretend. What kind of people have I not seen? Do you think you can hide this from me? Let's talk about the conditions. The little white rabbit said disdainfully. Qin Feiyang smiled bitterly and said, please say it. I will help you escape their pursuit, and as a reward, give me another 100 jars of this wine. The little white rabbit patted the wine jar and said. You are a bit dishonest. How can you take advantage of a burning house? Qin Feiyang smiled bitterly. Who told you to lie to me? The little white rabbit snorted and said indifferently, they will be here soon. You choose between the wine and your life. Qin Feiyang looked at the mermaid princess, and the mermaid princess also looked helpless. Qin Feiyang said, Little Gold, how much wine do you have? I only have 200 jars in total. I pestered Hui for a long time to get it. The five-clawed golden dragon said with a little grievance. He definitely had to take out this wine, otherwise Qin Feiyang would be in danger. But he really couldn't bear to. I know how you feel now, but don't worry, when there is a chance in the future, I will definitely get you some divine wine of the sky cloud realm. Qin Feiyang said. The five-clawed golden dragon said, this is what you said, I will remember it in my heart. I said it. Qin Feiyang responded and looked at the little white rabbit, okay, I will give it to you. Originally, they could have bargained, but there was no time for that now. You really lied to me. The little white rabbit glared at Qin Feiyang, and with a wave of its claws, the two were sent to an unfamiliar place. This was a stone room. It was closed on all sides, but the space was quite large. It should be several miles away. It was in this stone room that Qin Feiyang and Li Qiye finally saw what a real drunkard was. In this huge stone room, more than half of the stone room was piled up with wine jars. There were at least hundreds of thousands of wine jars. And none of them were opened. This little rabbit, it is even more exaggerated than Hui and Little Gold. The mermaid princess shook her head and laughed. And this place must be the little rabbit's spatial divine item. It actually used a spatial divine item to store wine. This was the first time they had encountered such a thing. Boom! Not long after Qin Feiyang and the little white rabbit disappeared, two streams of light broke through the sky and landed on the mountain peak. One of them was a horsetail whisk. The other was an old man in blood-red clothes. With blood-red hair and blood-red robes, he looked like he had just walked out of hell. His murderous aura was monstrous. Yo! Isn't this the old man from the western continent? Why do you have time to come here? The little white rabbit glanced at the old man in blood-red clothes and said indifferently. The old man in blood-red clothes looked at the little white rabbit, snorted, and flew straight toward the space-time crack with the horsetail whisk. What are you doing? What are you doing? Do you think I don't exist? Have you forgotten the rules? The little white rabbit swished and stopped in front of the space-time crack. Looking at the old man in blood-red clothes, a cold light flashed in her eyes. The old man in blood-red clothes snorted and took out 100 wine jars, threw them to the little white rabbit, and rushed into the space-time crack without looking back. Hee hee. The little white rabbit grinned. With a wave of her little paw, the 100 wine jars immediately entered the stone room. These are the rules. Qin Feiyang looked at the wine jars in a daze. Even these have to follow the rules. Looks like it's extraordinarily strong. The mermaid princess said. Little girl, you're quite perceptive. The little white rabbit suddenly appeared in front of the two of them. Qin Feiyang asked suspiciously, Senior, who exactly are you? Guess. The little white rabbit twisted the wine jar and drank while looking at Qin Feiyang playfully. I can't guess. Qin Feiyang shook his head. If you can't guess, shouldn't you at least pretend to guess? You're such a boring person. The little white rabbit shook her head and looked at the mermaid princess. She shook her head and said, Little girl, why do you like him? He's just a piece of wood. The mermaid princess smiled helplessly. That, Senior, don't try to sow discord between us, okay? Qin Feiyang was speechless. Who's in the mood? If it weren't for the 100 jars of wine, I wouldn't even bother with you. The little white rabbit looked at him with disdain. Yes, yes, yes. Qin Feiyang nodded. Suddenly, his expression changed. He looked at the mermaid princess and said, They didn't find us in the space-time tunnel. Will they go to the Nether King's Hell or the Great Qin Empire? The mermaid princess' expression changed when she heard this. With the strength of these people, if they went to the Great Qin Empire, wouldn't they cause a lot of trouble? Chapter 2989. The two of them were worried. I'm curious. What did you guys do? Even that old thing came to look for you personally. The little white rabbit looked at the two of them suspiciously. We didn't do anything. They came to look for us on their own initiative. Qin Feiyang said. Is that so? That's strange. The little white rabbit muttered. Qin Feiyang pondered for a while, took out the badge, and asked, Senior, do you know what this is? The little white rabbit glanced at the badge, and her eyes seemed to be glued to it, unable to move away. Qin Feiyang and the mermaid princess looked at each other, and their hearts couldn't help but tremble. It seemed that this thing was really extraordinary. The little white rabbit put down the wine jar, took the badge with a solemn face, and looked at it for a while, and asked, This thing, where did you get it? We snatched it from a young man in the space-time transmission channel. Qin Feiyang said. Young man. The little white rabbit was stunned. Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and the phantoms of the purple-robed young man and old high condensed. So it's them. I'm curious. Why did I only see the sovereign divine weapon come out and not them? It seems that they have died in your hands. The little white rabbit looked at the two of them and said. Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded. Amazing. You can even kill them. The little white rabbit was surprised. We killed the young man, but the one called Old High was killed by another old man. Qin Feiyang said. The little white rabbit asked, That little old man? Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded. Interesting. The little white rabbit raised the corner of her mouth, looked at the two of them, and said, I'm really curious. Who are you people? To be able to make them come down personally. We're just ordinary people. I really don't know why they want to find trouble with us. Qin Feiyang also had a look of annoyance. Looking at Qin Feiyang, the little white rabbit's eyes flickered. Suddenly, there was a hint of surprise in the little white rabbit's eyes. Then, with a wave of its paw, a streak of divine power swept out and sliced Qin Feiyang's wrist at lightning speed. Streams of blood immediately flowed out. Senior, you, Qin Feiyang looked at little white rabbit in shock and anger. Shut up! Little White Rabbit coldly shouted, staring at the blood on Qin Fei Yang's wrist. What is it doing? The mermaid princess was suspicious. Who knows? Qin Fei Yang pursed his lips. Suddenly, the little white rabbit exclaimed, "This is actually purple gold dragon blood." What? The expressions of Qin Fei Yang and the mermaid princess changed. How could the little white rabbit recognize the purple gold dragon blood? One had to know. After taking Qin Beishan's elixir, the purple gold dragon blood had changed greatly. He had wandered the ancient realm for many years, but no one had recognized him. But now, this little white rabbit actually saw through it in an instant. What was going on? So that's how it is. This emperor understands. Little White Rabbit nodded in realization, then threw the badge to Qin Fei Yang, grabbed the wine jar, and continued to drink. Qin Fei Yang caught the badge and asked suspiciously, "What do you understand?" "I understand why they are targeting you," Little White Rabbit said. "Why?" Qin Fei Yang hurriedly asked. "If you give this emperor another 500 jars of wine, this emperor will tell you." Little White Rabbit joked. 500 jars? Qin Fei Yang's face darkened, and he shook his head, "No. Then there's no other way." Little White Rabbit shook his head. Qin Fei Yang was quite anxious in his heart and said, "Senior, look at this junior couple. We just came to the Sky Cloud realm and are unfamiliar with the place, and we are being chased by these experts. You should kindly tell us, so that we can be mentally prepared." Little White Rabbit pondered for a moment, and shook his head. "Kid, don't say that you don't have wine. Even if you do, this emperor can't tell you." "Why?" Qin Fei Yang frowned. "If I tell you, it won't be fun. Don't ask any more, there are some things that you will slowly know," Little White Rabbit said. Qin Fei Yang helplessly said, "Then you can at least tell me the origin of this badge. You can also investigate this by yourself. But there is one thing that this emperor can tell you. This thing is a hot potato, I advise you to throw it away long ago," Little White Rabbit said. "Hot potato," Qin Fei Yang muttered. Little White Rabbit looked at the two and said indifferently, "As for the problem that you are worried about, you don't have to worry about it now." "What do you mean?" Qin Fei Yang and Little White Rabbit were suspicious. Little White Rabbit said playfully, "They can't go to the lower realm now." The two looked at each other and wondered, "Why? Why are you asking so many questions? If this emperor says that they can't go, then they can't go. You will know in the future." Little White Rabbit waved his paw and said impatiently, "All right." Qin Fei Yang nodded. Although he didn't know why, he could finally breathe a sigh of relief. As long as they couldn't enter the lower realm. Boom! At this time, the two auras appeared again. Little White Rabbit waved its paw, and a picture appeared in the void. It was the blood-red clothed old man and the horsetail whisk. The blood-red clothed old man stood in front of the space crack and looked around. He frowned slightly and said, "They must have entered the Sky Cloud realm. Go back immediately and send people to search this sea area. Since they have entered the Sky Cloud realm, then the little rabbit that is guarding here should know where they went, right? Do you want to go and ask it?" The horsetail whisk let out an old voice. "Go and find it. This old man doesn't want to stick my warm face to its cold butt." The blood-red clothed old man snorted coldly and disappeared with the horsetail whisk in an instant. At least he has a little self-awareness. Hearing the conversation between the blood-red clothed old man and the horsetail whisk, Little White Rabbit smiled coldly. "Senior, looking at them, they seem to be afraid of you?" Qin Fei Yang asked curiously. "Of course. This emperor's strength is not bragging. With just a few punches and kicks, I can send them to the Western Paradise." Little White Rabbit smiled proudly. Qin Fei Yang and the Mermaid Princess looked at each other. "Is it true?" Little White Rabbit said, don't talk nonsense. Quickly give this emperor the wine. Qin Feiyang shook his head. With a thought, 100 jars of immortal wine appeared. Not bad, not bad. Little White Rabbit released its divine sense. After checking one by one, it nodded in satisfaction and said, seeing this wine and you calling me senior, this emperor will give you a way out. Thank you, senior. The two of us are all ears. Qin Feiyang quickly cupped his hands and thanked it. The blood-red clothed old man clearly wanted to seal this sea area. Without Little White Rabbit's help, it would be really difficult to escape. Keep going east. As this emperor expected, there should be someone helping you. Little White Rabbit smiled mysteriously. Keep going east, Qin Feiyang muttered. Alright, we'll meet again if fate wills it. With a wave of its hand, Little White Rabbit sent Qin Feiyang and Little White Rabbit out. Mermaid Princess scanned the surrounding sea and asked, Feiyang, do we really have to keep going east? Qin Feiyang pondered for a moment, and thought to himself, I think, it shouldn't need to harm us, let's just listen to it. Alright. Mermaid Princess nodded. Qin Feiyang lowered his head to look at the badge in his hand, and muttered, is it really that hot? It was impossible to throw it away. This thing must have an extremely important meaning, and it might be useful in the future. Then. Qin Feiyang then kept the badge, took out 2 illusory form Dan, and said, just in case, let's change our appearances. Yes. Mermaid Princess nodded and took the illusory form Dan. The two of them quickly changed, and in the end, they turned into a middle-aged man and a middle-aged woman. Following that, the two of them entered the Black Tortoise realm, changed their clothes, and flew towards the eastern sea area hand in hand. Quite cautious. However, in front of them, it's useless. It seems that the Sky Cloud realm will also be lively. Little White Rabbit stood in the spatial divine object and watched Qin Feiyang and Little White Rabbit leave. The corner of her mouth lifted slightly, and she pursed her lips into a playful smile. Chapter 2990. The sea stretched as far as the eye could see, and the waves were turbulent. But in the sky, there were white clouds floating, like a fairyland in a painting. Above the sea, Qin Feiyang took the Mermaid Princess, using the walk formula, and moved as fast as lightning. Of course. Along the way, they didn't forget to appreciate the scenery of the Sky Cloud realm. After all, it was their first time here, and they were full of curiosity about everything here. First of all, the essence chi of the Sky Cloud realm was quite rich. It could be said that even a place like the ancient realm was not even 1/10 as rich as the Sky Cloud realm. Secondly, the sea beasts here. Their strength was quite terrifying. The beasts that Qin Feiyang encountered along the way were almost all in the imperishable realm. This really confirmed what the small beast had said before. In the 4th level, there were as many imperishable realm creatures as dogs. Although they were prepared, Qin Feiyang and the Mermaid Princess were still shocked and they saw it with their own eyes. Half a month later, the two passed by an island. The island was not big, and there was a group of sea beasts on it. The weakest was at the 9th heaven realm, and there were a few sea beasts that had just reached the imperishable realm. Qin Feiyang and the Mermaid Princess did not disturb them and took a detour. You two, wait. But suddenly, a voice sounded in the sea below. Qin Feiyang and the Mermaid Princess were taken aback and quickly looked down, only to see a figure rushing out of the waves and landing in front of them. It was a bearded man, about 1.9 meters tall, with a bare upper body, looking burly and full of a valiant aura. Qin Feiyang and the Mermaid Princess looked at each other and couldn't help but be vigilant. But at the same time, they were very happy. After walking in the sea for half a month, they finally met a living person. Because it was urgent that they quickly figure out the specific situation of the Sky Cloud realm. The bearded man looked at the two, and a trace of joy gradually crept into his eyes. He bowed and said, "I'm Luo Tianshan, and I came to talk to you rashly. I hope you too can forgive me." "It's okay." Qin Feiyang waved his hand. "May I ask your names?" the bearded man asked. The mermaid princess was about to speak. Qin Feiyang grabbed the mermaid princess and looked at the bearded man. He smiled and said, "He's just a nobody. He's not worth mentioning." The bearded man was taken aback. He quickly apologized, "I was rude. I'm fine." "What's the matter, Brother Luo?" Qin Feiyang was curious. Luo Tianshan hesitated for a moment before he nodded and said, "There is indeed something that I would like the two of you to help me with. It's fate that brought us together. Brother Luo, feel free to speak your mind. So long as it's within my ability, I will definitely not refuse." Qin Feiyang smiled. "Brother, you're really a straightforward person." Luo Tianshan laughed. But then, he quickly stopped talking and turned his head to look at the island not far away. He said in a low voice, "Gentlemen, this is not the place to talk. Please follow me." After saying that, he flew to the left. Qin Feiyang and Luo Tianshan looked at each other and couldn't help but look at the island. That was the island that they took a detour to. And just now, Luo Tianshan's laughter clearly indicated that he was afraid of something. And the thing that he was afraid of was on the island. But on this island, other than the sea beasts, there didn't seem to be anything else. Could it be, what was on the island that made this person envious? "Brother?" Luo Tianshan couldn't help but call out in a low voice when he saw that Qin Feiyang and Luo Tianshan didn't follow. "Yes." Qin Feiyang quickly responded and said to the mermaid princess, "We're new here. Be careful, especially my name. Don't let it slip. You suspect that they're old Hai's men?" The mermaid princess secretly said. "Whether they are or not, it's always good to be cautious." Qin Feiyang said. Even if they weren't, they couldn't expose it. Because this sea area had been blocked by old Hai's forces. If he said his name and Luo Tianshan leaked it, it would bring trouble. "Okay." The mermaid princess responded. Immediately, the two flew toward Luo Tianshan. Luo Tianshan didn't ask anything else and flew straight ahead with the two. "Brother Luo, where are we going?" The mermaid princess was suspicious. Luo Tianshan pointed ahead and said with a smile, "There's an island ahead. Let's go there and talk." "So far?" The mermaid princess was stunned. "Madam, you don't know about this. I think Brother Luo must have companions, and they are now on the island that Brother Luo mentioned." Qin Feiyang said with a smile. Luo Tianshan was slightly stunned and looked at Qin Feiyang in surprise. "Brother, how do you know?" The mermaid princess also looked at Qin Feiyang in surprise. Of course, she knew about Qin Feiyang. She had never seen Luo Tianshan before, so how did she know that he had companions? "It's very simple. If it's just a chat, there's no need to go so far. Because we can communicate through voice transmission." Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Luo Tianshan was stunned for a while before he came back to his senses. He gave a thumbs up and said with admiration, "Brother, you're a smart guy. You flatter me." Qin Feiyang waved his hand. Luo Tianshan shook his head. He was too modest. Then he looked at the mermaid princess and said with a smile, "Your husband is right. I do have a few companions on that island. Now I'll take you to see them." After that, he turned around and continued to lead the way. But when he turned around, he couldn't help but frown slightly. Would such a smart person ruin his plan? At the back, the mermaid princess looked at Luo Tianshan and said through voice transmission, "Feiyang, to be honest, your brain is really admirable. You can even think of this. It's not as exaggerated as you say." This is my experience. It's just that you rarely venture outside, so there are some things that you haven't thought of. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. The mermaid princess said, then I'll always follow you and explore the heavenly cloud mountain. Aren't you always following me now? Qin Feiyang looked at the mermaid princess suspiciously. What I mean is, I don't want to stay in the black tortoise world. I want to stay by your side. The mermaid princess said. Is there a difference? Qin Feiyang was stunned and said, if you stay in the black tortoise world, you'll still be by my side. Of course there's a difference. We're separated by the black tortoise world. The mermaid princess pouted. Ah. Qin Feiyang was stunned. Separated by the black tortoise world. Hearing this, why did he feel like laughing? Although they were separated by the black tortoise world, entering the black tortoise world was just a matter of thought. There was no distance at all. I don't care. I'll keep an eye on you from outside, lest you take advantage of my carelessness and run off to flirt with other girls. The mermaid princess hugged Qin Feiyang's arm. Flirt with other girls? Hearing this, Qin Feiyang couldn't help but smile bitterly. My dear wife, don't you know me? Am I that kind of person? That's not necessarily true. The heavenly cloud world is full of outstanding people, there must be a lot of beautiful girls. When the time comes, you might fall in love with someone at first sight. The mermaid princess said. Okay. It's up to you. I also want you to stay by my side. Qin Feiyang reached out and hugged the mermaid princess's waist. The mermaid princess blushed and said angrily, what are you doing? There's someone here. What's there to be afraid of? I'm hugging my own wife, why should I be afraid of others talking? Qin Feiyang pursed his lips and then asked in a low voice, my dear wife, we don't seem to have consummated our marriage yet, right? The mermaid princess's delicate body stiffened, and her cheeks turned even redder. It's all because of those two bastards, they ruined our good thing. Qin Feiyang angrily said. He chuckled and said, my dear wife, when do you think we should make up for this? The mermaid princess's cheeks couldn't help but heat up. She rolled her eyes at Qin Feiyang and said, what time is it now, and you're still thinking about these things? My dear wife, I don't agree with this. We've gone through the wedding ceremony, we're a real husband and wife. Isn't it normal for a husband and wife to think about this? Let's talk about it later. If we count according to the time in the black tortoise world, I'm already an antique that has been around for hundreds of thousands of years. But even now, I'm still a virgin, it's embarrassing to talk about it. Qin Feiyang's face was full of grievance. This shows that you're a good man, what's there to be embarrassed about? The mermaid princess was speechless. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, shouldn't a good man be rewarded? Then tell me, what reward do you want? The mermaid princess asked helplessly. Come here. Qin Feiyang pointed at his face. You, the mermaid princess blushed and glanced at Luo Tianshan in front of her, then quickly kissed Qin Feiyang's face. Thank you, my dear wife. Qin Feiyang immediately hugged the mermaid princess. Luo Tianshan heard the sound and turned to look at the two hugging together. He chuckled and said, you two are really a married couple. He thought that the two were already an old married couple. After all, Qin Feiyang and the mermaid princess were now middle-aged. But he didn't know that the two had just gotten married and were still in the state of being newlyweds. Naturally, the feeling was different from that of an old married couple. Of course. Qin Feiyang laughed and put down the mermaid princess. The mermaid princess stared at Qin Feiyang, then looked at Luo Tianshan and said apologetically, Brother Luo, I'm sorry. It's okay. We're all experienced people. I understand. Luo Tianshan waved his hand and then said, but I really envy you. Envy us? Qin Feiyang and the mermaid princess were stunned. Yes. It's said that when people reach middle age, the relationship between husband and wife will become family. This sentence is indeed true. Because many of my friends are like this. When you first fell in love and got married, it was quite fresh. But as time passed, it slowly became dull. But the two of you have been in the state of being in love for the first time. It's really rare. Luo Tianshan smiled and turned to continue leading the way. Qin Feiyang pulled the mermaid princess and followed behind him unhurriedly. Feiyang, suddenly. The mermaid princess transmitted her voice. What's wrong? Qin Feiyang looked at her in confusion. The mermaid princess murmured, these words he said, what are you thinking about? No matter how much time has passed, no matter how the future changes, my feelings for you will never change. Qin Feiyang said. Really? The mermaid princess raised her head and looked at Qin Feiyang, blinking her bright eyes. Yes. Look at my father and mother. They can be considered as an old married couple. But now, aren't they still stuck together like glue? Qin Feiyang said. It seems to be true. The mermaid princess nodded. Although she didn't spend much time with the emperor couple, she usually looked at each other with eyes full of love. Chapter 2991. Qin Feiyang added, and my ancestor and great-grandmother, you must have seen how close they are. Yes. The mermaid princess nodded. So, you don't have to worry at all, because the Qin clan has a good bloodline and we're all loyal men. Qin Feiyang said. In that case, it's my fortune to be able to marry you. The mermaid princess said. Of course. Qin Feiyang smiled proudly. Shameless. The mermaid princess rolled her eyes. She had seen a lot of people boasting, but she had never seen anyone boast about themselves like this. While they were talking, the island in front of them finally came into sight. The island was about 100 miles long, floating on the sea like a boat. However, when she looked at the island, the mermaid princess couldn't help but frown. The entire island was in ruins, and they could smell blood from afar. When they got closer, the island was full of sea beast corpses. Blood stained the ground. Qin Feiyang frowned and said, Brother Luo, what's going on? A few days ago, when we came here, these sea beasts wanted to kill us. To avoid trouble, we just killed them. Luo Tianshan smiled faintly. Qin Feiyang and the mermaid princess looked at each other. It seemed that these people were cruel and merciless, and they had to be more careful. Brothers, come out and welcome the guests. When they entered the sky above the island, Luo Tianshan stopped and laughed. Whoosh! At that moment, with the sound of air breaking, 6 figures rushed out from the mountains below and landed opposite Luo Tianshan. These 6 people were all middle-aged, and there was obvious hostility between their eyebrows. The 6 of them looked at Qin Feiyang and the mermaid princess suspiciously. Qin Feiyang and Luo Tianshan were also looking at the 6 people. Suddenly, Qin Feiyang's pupils shrank. 4 of these 6 people were half-step invincible realm, and the other 2 were beginner invincible realm. Then, he glanced at Luo Tianshan. Previously, Qin Feiyang had paid special attention to this person. However, this person had concealed his aura, and Qin Feiyang could not see through his cultivation. But now, looking at the other 6 people, he estimated that Luo Tianshan's cultivation was at least at the initial imperishable realm. He might even be stronger. The first wave of people they met in the sky cloud realm were actually all in the imperishable realm. This was truly a shocking matter. Brother Luo, who are they? One of the thinner middle-aged men looked away from Qin Feiyang and Luo Tianshan and looked at Luo Tianshan suspiciously. Luo Tianshan said, I met these 2 near the island. So you don't know him? The thin middle-aged man was stunned and frowned. Yes. Luo Tianshan nodded. When the other 5 heard this, they could not help but frown. The thin middle-aged man pulled Luo Tianshan to the side and transmitted his voice, I don't know them. Why did you bring them here? Don't you need help? I saw that their cultivation was not bad, so I brought them back. Luo Tianshan thought to himself. But, the thin middle-aged man raised his eyebrows. Don't worry. I have my own plans. Luo Tianshan transmitted his voice. As long as you know what to do. The thin middle-aged man nodded. You still don't trust me? Luo Tianshan smiled slightly, turned around and walked to Qin Feiyang and Luo Tianshan's side, and said apologetically, I'm sorry, my brothers are a little afraid of strangers. It's okay. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and smiled, saying, now you can tell us. To tell you the truth, there is a treasure on the island you passed by before. Luo Tianshan said. Treasure? Qin Feiyang and the mermaid princess looked at each other. Yes. Luo Tianshan nodded and said, if I tell you, you will definitely be shocked. Is it that exaggerated? Qin Feiyang smiled disapprovingly. I'm not joking with you. The treasure on the island is the first volume of the alchemy scripture. Luo Tianshan said word by word. Alchemy scripture. Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled. These people actually knew about the alchemy scripture. It was really a shock. Even in the ancient realm, no one knew about the alchemy scripture, but in the sky cloud realm, there were actually people who knew about it. Moreover, listening to Luo Tianshan's tone, it seemed that the existence of the alchemy scripture was not a secret in the sky cloud realm. Feiyang, calm down, maybe it's just the same name and not the alchemy scripture in your hand. Mermaid Princess saw the shock in Qin Feiyang's heart and secretly said. N. Qin Feiyang responded. How is it? Are you scared? Luo Tianshan looked at Qin Feiyang and smiled. Indeed. Qin Feiyang nodded calmly. As long as we get the first volume of the alchemy scripture, we will definitely have a meteoric rise in the future. So brother, you must help us. You can rest assured that when we get the first volume of the alchemy scripture, we will definitely not miss out on your copy. Luo Tianshan said. The first volume of the alchemy scripture, Qin Feiyang pondered again. This person mentioned the first volume again and again. Could it be that there was a second volume? Seeing Qin Feiyang's silence, Luo Tianshan thought that Qin Feiyang was unwilling and continued, Brother, I really treat you as a friend, otherwise I wouldn't tell you such important news. Thank you for your kindness, Brother Luo. However, we are only half-step immortal realm cultivators, not as good as you. What can we help you with? Qin Feiyang was suspicious. Brother, don't be modest. When I was hiding in the sea before, I saw your speed with my own eyes. If I'm not wrong, the footwork you used at that time should be a heaven-defying divine art. Luo Tianshan smiled. Heaven-defying divine art. The 6 people next to him heard this and looked at Qin Feiyang with a trace of surprise in their eyes. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed, and he said with a smile, Brother Luo is really insightful. That's right. At that time, he had activated the Xing character art. Luo Tianshan said, with this heaven-defying divine art, even I can't catch up with you, so it will definitely be of great help. Qin Feiyang pondered for a while and nodded, okay, I'll help you. To be honest, he was quite interested in this so-called pill scripture. Was it the same thing as the pill scripture in his hand? Thank you, brother. Luo Tianshan was wild with joy, then he looked at the other 6 and said, Brothers, are you ready? We're waiting for your order. One of them sneered. Good. Luo Tianshan nodded and looked at Qin Feiyang, saying, Brother, I can't explain the details in a short time. When we arrive, follow my orders. No problem. Qin Feiyang nodded. Then let's go. Luo Tianshan waved his hand, and the group immediately flew toward the island. Brother, don't you have a heaven-defying divine art? Why don't you show it to us? A thin middle-aged man suddenly looked at Qin Feiyang and said. Sure. Qin Feiyang nodded, rolled up everyone, and stepped on the walk formula, breaking through the air like lightning. This speed, it's really a heaven-defying divine art. The thin middle-aged man was dumbfounded. The other 5 also glanced at Qin Feiyang, and a trace of killing intent appeared in the depths of their eyes. For Qin Feiyang, who had mastered the kill formula, killing intent was the most sensitive. He noticed it at the first moment, and his heart suddenly trembled. It seemed that these people were not only ruthless, but also very greedy. Qin Feiyang's eyes flickered, and said to the mermaid princess, "You go to the Black Tortoise world first." Why? Mermaid princess was suspicious. These people are not good people, you might be in danger if you stay outside. Qin Feiyang said. Mermaid princess's pupils shrank, and secretly said, "Then we might as well not go. We have to go. I want to see what kind of pill scripture they are talking about. And I've been thinking that the pill scripture I have is not complete." Qin Feiyang thought to himself. Not complete? Mermaid princess was dazed. Yes. When I came out of the Nether King Hell and checked the pill scripture, I found that it was already the last page of the pill scripture. Theoretically, the pill scripture should have the formula to open the door to the eternal realm, but it's not there. So I'm thinking, is this pill scripture not complete? Qin Feiyang thought to himself. Mermaid princess asked, "You mean, there's another part of the pill scripture?" "I don't know. But now, since there's a part of the pill scripture, I have to go and take a look." Qin Feiyang said telepathically. Okay. Mermaid princess thought to herself. Although she was also in the half-step undead realm, she didn't have a heaven-defying divine art or a heaven-defying divine artifact. Therefore, if Luo Tianshan and the others really had ulterior motives, they would only be a burden to Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and the mermaid princess disappeared. Luo Tianshan and the others were dazed. I've also noticed the sea beasts on the island. They're quite strong. I don't want her to be in danger. Qin Feiyang said with a smile. Luo Tianshan nodded and said with a smile, "Brother, you're really good to your woman. When a woman marries you, it's the same as entrusting her life to you. You have to protect her, don't you?" Qin Feiyang said. I'm impressed. Luo Tianshan clasped his hands. The thin middle-aged man's eyes flashed and he said telepathically, "Brother Luo, he has a divine space item." Luo Tianshan thought to himself, what's so special about a divine space item? I'm interested in his divine art. We have the same idea. The thin middle-aged man said telepathically. Luo Tianshan smiled and then fell silent. If they knew that the place the mermaid princess went to wasn't a divine space item, but an independent world, they wouldn't be so disdainful. However, even if Qin Feiyang told them the truth, they might not believe him. After all, it was incredible to have an independent world. Soon, they returned to the island again. The sea beasts on the island didn't move. Some closed their eyes and took a nap. Some lay on the ground and basked in the sun. Brother, the sea beasts on the island aren't as simple as they seem. Luo Tianshan said solemnly. What do you mean? Qin Feiyang was suspicious. There's a beast king at the initial imperishable stage hidden on the island. It's very strong. The morning before yesterday, we were about to charge in, but we almost died in its hands. So, we can't be careless. The best thing is to leave as soon as you get the pill scripture. You have a divine art. It can't catch up. Luo Tianshan said in a low voice. Understood. Qin Feiyang nodded. He didn't care about a sea beast at the initial imperishable stage. After all, even ancestral Gragon and other experts at the greater imperishable stage were no match for him. However, he still had to hold back in front of these people. Chapter 2992. Go. Following Luo Tianshan's order, a group of people immediately rushed into the sky above the island. Roar. Immediately. Loud beastly roars rang out one after another. You again. A sea beast at the initial stage of the imperishable realm suddenly roared and rushed toward Qin Feiyang and the others like a torrent. Get lost. Luo Tianshan snorted and stepped out, his aura rolling out. A wave of divine power also appeared and roared. Initial stage of the imperishable realm. Qin Feiyang's pupils shrank. This person's cultivation was indeed not simple. Boom! The two waves of divine power collided, and the void suddenly twisted. There was no suspense at all between the initial immortal level and the small immortal level. Roar! Along with a miserable shriek, the sea beast was sent flying. Blood gushed out as it smashed into the deep sea. After Luo Tianshan sent the sea beast flying, he pointed at a mountain in the middle of the island and said, "Brother, do you see that?" Qin Feiyang looked up and asked, "Is the first volume of the alchemy scripture there?" "There's a cave halfway up the mountain. It's a cave left behind by a predecessor, and the first volume of the alchemy scripture is there. You must be quick." Luo Tianshan said. Understood. Qin Feiyang nodded and used the walk formula to rush toward the mountain. Roar. At this moment. With a series of roars, the sea beasts below rushed up and pounced toward Qin Feiyang. Help! Luo Tianshan roared. Boom! The seven of them moved together, their auras erupting in divine power surging as they charged toward the sea beasts. The void was instantly soaked in blood. Qin Feiyang didn't stop at all. Because the speed of these sea beasts couldn't stop him at all. He was like a ghost, constantly dodging the obstructions of the sea beasts and smoothly arriving at the mountain peak. His divine sense appeared and shrouded the mountain. In the blink of an eye, he found the cave abode. The cave was halfway up the mountain and was only 500 or 600 meters away from the ground below. Human, you're courting death. Two more sea beasts pounced towards Qin Feiyang with overflowing hostility. These two sea beasts were as large as mountains, and they were both in the initial imperishable realm. I have no intention of harming you. I just want to take the things inside. Get out of my way. Qin Feiyang took a step forward, and his imposing aura surged towards the two sea beasts. Although he was only a half-step undying realm expert, he gave off an invisible pressure that made the two sea beasts fearful. However, the two sea beasts didn't retreat. They stood in front of Qin Feiyang, blocking the entrance of the cave. Brother, let me help you. Luo Tianshan roared as he sent a half-step imperishable realm sea beast flying with a palm strike. Then, he charged towards Qin Feiyang. Do you think I don't exist? Suddenly. A cold voice sounded from below. As soon as this voice came out, the faces of the seven people from Luo Tianshan paled. Boom! The next moment. A monstrous aura burst out as a half-meter-long crocodile soared into the sky. Brother, this is the beast emperor I was talking about. Quickly find a way to enter the cave. Luo Tianshan exclaimed and immediately charged towards the crocodile. It seems that the lesson I taught you last time wasn't enough. The crocodile smiled ferociously. Boom! Its half-meter-long body suddenly began to grow. In an instant. Its half-meter-long body expanded to hundreds of feet, and the scales all over its body seemed to be cast from divine iron, exuding a monstrous aura. Qin Feiyang looked at the crocodile and Luo Tianshan. They were both in the initial imperishable realm. Why was Luo Tianshan so afraid of the crocodile? Boom! The moment the man and the beast collided, Luo Tianshan spat out a mouthful of blood and flew out like a meteorite. Qin Feiyang was stunned. He was sent flying just like that. He couldn't even withstand a single blow. It seemed that the crocodile was terrifying in its body and strength. If the difference in strength was too great, it would be fatal. Take himself for example. With the body and strength of a sovereign, he could crush creatures of the same realm with his fists. Roar! After the crocodile blasted Luo Tianshan away, it turned around and looked at Qin Feiyang, its eyes flashing red. "You'd better not provoke me," Qin Feiyang said. The 7 people from Luo Tianshan were dumbfounded when they heard this. Better not provoke me? Shouldn't he be afraid when facing such a powerful beast? Why is he so arrogant? The crocodile was also stunned. This human must be a fool, right? The sea beast blocking the cave also had a mocking look in its eyes. However, at this moment, Qin Feiyang took advantage of their carelessness to use the movement formula and rushed into the cave at lightning speed. "You're courting death." The crocodile flew into a rage and charged towards the cave. "Stop it!" Luo Tianshan roared. The 7 of them immediately pounced forward. Inside the cave, Qin Feiyang scanned the surroundings. The cave was not big, only about 100 feet in size. There were weeds growing inside, which was enough to show that no one had lived here for a long time. There was only a stone bed and a rotten futon in the entire cave. There was a pile of rotten bones on the futon. Qin Feiyang walked closer to take a look. The bones had been there for God knows how long, but they turned into powder when he touched them. Qin Feiyang looked at the fingers of the bones and saw that there was an interspatial ring on them. Could the first volume of the pill mantra be in here? Qin Feiyang muttered. Sorry. Looking at the bones, Qin Feiyang reached out and took off the interspatial ring. However, at this moment, he suddenly felt a chill in his heart. There's danger. Qin Feiyang grabbed the interspatial ring and retreated without hesitation. At the same time, a blood-red divine light swept out from the rotten futon and went straight to Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang looked and found that it was a blood-red scorpion. It was not big, only about the size of an adult's thumb. However, the aura it emitted was more terrifying than that of the alligator and Luo Tianshan. Boy, you've got guts. How dare you touch my things? The little scorpion stopped in the void and stared at Qin Feiyang like a poisonous snake. This is yours. Qin Feiyang frowned. Judging from its aura, this little scorpion should be at the profound undead stage. Great accomplishment imperishable realm experts were not much of a threat to him. This immortal's cave is mine. You said that the things here don't belong to me, then whose are they? The little scorpion smiled. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed. It seemed that the sea beasts outside did not care about the interspatial ring, but the little scorpion. In other words, the real beast king was not the alligator, but the little scorpion. This cave is yours? I don't think so. There's a pile of bones here, and they're obviously human. You're just a turtledove occupying a magpie's nest. Qin Feiyang said. Even so, shouldn't there be a first-come, first-served rule? The little scorpion stared at him, its eyes emitting a blood-red light. Qin Feiyang frowned and then said, well, let's not fight and solve it in a peaceful way. Tell me about it. The little scorpion was slightly stunned and looked at Qin Feiyang playfully. A half-step undead stage cultivator wanted to talk about peace with it. Are you kidding me? Okay. Since I'm bored, I'll play with you. Qin Feiyang said, let me see if there's anything I want in the interspatial ring. If there's nothing, I'll return it to you immediately. What if there is? The little scorpion asked. Qin Feiyang said, if there is, I'm willing to exchange treasures of the same value with you. Is that so? It seems that you have a lot of treasures on you. The little scorpion looked at Qin Feiyang playfully. Qin Feiyang said, I'm already very polite. I advise you not to push your luck. Huh, the little scorpion laughed and said, okay, as long as you can take out the things in the interspatial ring, I'll give it to you. Qin Feiyang was stunned and looked down at the interspatial ring. What did it mean? It suddenly became so generous. No. Suddenly, a trace of surprise appeared on his face. He didn't notice it before, but this interspatial ring seemed to have a sealed aura. At that moment, Qin Feiyang released his divine sense and indeed sensed the existence of the seal. Huh, the little scorpion sneered. You already knew that this interspatial ring had a seal? Qin Feiyang frowned. Of course. Also, I tried to break the seal inside, but I couldn't. So, I just left it here. Otherwise, do you think you have a share? The little scorpion's eyes were full of disdain. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. If even the little scorpion couldn't break the seal, then he definitely couldn't do anything. However, he couldn't do anything, but it didn't mean that others couldn't do anything. One had to know that the two ancestors were supreme experts of the perfected indestructible stage, even stronger than the little scorpion. Moreover, since there was a seal, it meant that there must be a treasure in this interspatial ring. Otherwise, why would the owner of this white bone leave a seal before he died? Hurry up. I'm waiting for you to break the seal. The little scorpion urged, the teasing in its eyes became even more intense. Qin Feiyang finally understood that even if he broke the seal, the little scorpion wouldn't let him go. In that case, Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed, he activated the concealment technique, turned around and rushed out of the cave house without looking back. Where is he? The little scorpion was slightly stunned and glanced around, its eyes full of doubts. Outside. As soon as Qin Feiyang went out, he saw Fierce Crocodile and a group of sea beasts outside the cave house. As for the 7 people of Luo Tianshan, they were all lying on the ground below. Qin Feiyang was about to silently pass through the encirclement of these sea beasts. Boom! But at this moment, in the cave house, a monstrous ferocious aura rolled out. This was the ferocious aura of the little scorpion. The little scorpion was at the great achievement indestructible stage, while Qin Feiyang was only at the half-step indestructible stage. His stealth state was immediately broken by force. Fierce Crocodile and a group of sea beasts looked at Qin Feiyang standing in front of them and couldn't help but be stunned. Then, this group of sea beasts fiercely pounced on Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly, his figure flashed again and again, but in the blink of an eye, he calmly escaped the encirclement. What kind of speed is this? Fierce Crocodile looked at Qin Feiyang in astonishment. Brother, take us away quickly. When the 7 people of Luo Tianshan saw Qin Feiyang appear, they were wild with joy and immediately roared. Qin Feiyang swooped down and swept towards the 6 people. Kill it for me. The little scorpion swept past, staring at Qin Feiyang and roaring. Boom! Immediately, the group of sea beasts came back to their senses and chased after Qin Feiyang crazily. Why is there another scorpion? Looking at the little scorpion, Luo Tianshan and the others were stunned. It is the beast king on this island. Qin Feiyang rushed to the side of the 7 people and swept them up. Then, using the walk formula, he left without looking back. Chapter 2993. Run. Even if you run to the end of the world, I won't let you go. Brothers, chase. The little scorpion roared. Boom. Its body also grew rapidly. In less than an instant, a few 100 feet tall Zhu Xia appeared, its ferocious aura shocking the world. Greater undead stage. Luo Tianshan and the others turned to look at Zhu Xia, their faces pale. The skinny middle-aged man looked at Qin Feiyang and asked, Brother, it's hiding in that cave? Yes. We were almost ambushed by it. Qin Feiyang nodded. Hearing this, the 7 of them couldn't help but feel scared. Fortunately, they didn't have the ability to break into the cave, otherwise, they would have become the sea beast's food. Luo Tianshan said in admiration, "Brother, you're really strong. Even a greater undead stage sea beast can't hurt you. You flatter me. I'm just being careful." Qin Feiyang waved his hand. Luo Tianshan asked suspiciously, "Then how did you become invisible?" "It's a divine art. It can only be used once a day," Qin Feiyang said. "I see. No wonder you could escape from the cave." The 7 of them nodded in understanding. The skinny middle-aged man glanced at Qin Feiyang and said, "Brother Luo, when should we do it?" "Don't rush. Zhu Xie is still chasing us. If we kill him now, it won't do us any good," Luo Tianshan thought. The skinny middle-aged man couldn't help but look at the sea beasts that were chasing them. Indeed. Without this person, they wouldn't have been able to escape Zhu Xie's pursuit. Because Zhu Xie's cultivation had far surpassed theirs. But this person was different. This person had the heavenly god art. Even if Zhu Xie was at the greater undead stage, he wouldn't be able to catch up to them. As expected. Even if Zhu Xie used a supreme-level auxiliary divine art, his speed couldn't be compared to Qin Feiyang's. Soon, they had left Zhu Xie far behind. "Let's do it." The skinny middle-aged man couldn't wait any longer. A divine art that defied the heavens and allowed one to become invisible was very tempting. Although they were all seriously injured, they believed that it would not be a problem for them to sneak attack Qin Feiyang from behind. Luo Tianshan's eyes flashed. He looked at Qin Feiyang and asked, "Brother, did you get the first volume of the alchemy mantra?" "I didn't see any alchemy manuals, but I did find a universe ring." Qin Feiyang took out the interspatial ring from his bosom. "Cosmos ring?" Luo Tianshan was taken aback. He snatched the interspatial ring and dripped his blood on it to claim ownership. Immediately. Luo Tianshan frowned. Frown. The other 6 looked at him suspiciously. Luo Tianshan said, "Why can't you bind it with blood?" "It can't be bound by blood." The 6 of them looked at each other and immediately looked at Qin Feiyang. The skinny middle-aged man said angrily, "Brother, you're too unreasonable." "What about me?" Qin Feiyang was puzzled. "What else?" "Only an interspatial ring that has recognized an owner cannot be bound by blood. Weren't you the one who took the initiative to drip your blood to claim ownership?" "Brother, we treated you with sincerity. And in order to let you enter the cave residence, we almost lost our lives. But you went behind my back and dripped your blood to claim ownership. Tell me, are you being honest?" The skinny middle-aged man said angrily. Qin Feiyang wanted to call him an idiot. How could there be such a stupid person? Didn't he know to look carefully first? "No." Luo Tianshan suddenly said. "What's wrong?" The 6 of them looked at him in confusion. Luo Tianshan muttered, "This interspatial ring seems to have a seal." "Seal." The 6 of them were stunned and released their divine senses. There was indeed a seal. "Well, brother, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you," the skinny middle-aged man looked at Qin Feiyang awkwardly. "It's okay." Qin Feiyang waved his hand. Luo Tianshan said with a smile, "Come, let's work together to unlock the seal." "Okay." The 6 of them nodded. However, they couldn't unlock the seal even after using all their strength. "Don't bother. That little scorpion said that even he can't unlock the seal." Qin Feiyang said. "What? Even he can't unlock the seal? Doesn't that mean we need someone stronger?" They frowned. "Then keep it first. We'll find someone to help us when we get back," the skinny middle-aged man said and gave Luo Tianshan a look. What he meant was to keep it quickly and not be afraid that Qin Feiyang would snatch it away. Luo Tianshan looked at Qin Feiyang and said with a smile, "Brother, let me keep it for now. You don't have a problem with that, right? I'm just helping." Qin Feiyang smiled slightly. Haha. Luo Tianshan smiled and put away the interspatial ring. The skinny middle-aged man looked behind and saw that Zhu Xia had disappeared. He said through voice transmission, "Let's do it." "Okay." Luo Tianshan responded secretly with killing intent in his eyes. "He can't wait anymore." Qin Feiyang muttered secretly. Although he didn't look at Luo Tianshan, he could sense it through the sensitivity of the kill formula. Whoosh! However, at this moment, two figures suddenly appeared in the void in front of them. "There are people." Luo Tianshan's heart skipped a beat. He said to the skinny middle-aged man and the others, "Don't move." Qin Feiyang also saw the two figures in front of them. Their aura was very strong. They should have reached the peak Undying Realm, or even the peak Undying Realm. The skinny middle-aged man and the others also noticed the aura of the two figures and couldn't help but feel nervous. "Don't be nervous. They shouldn't be coming for us. After all, we just found the first volume of the alchemy mantra a while ago. It shouldn't have been leaked yet." Luo Tianshan said through voice transmission. They nodded and tried to stay calm. Luo Tianshan whispered again, "Brother, quickly deactivate your heaven-defying divine art so as not to attract their attention." "Okay." Qin Feiyang immediately slowed down. After a while, they finally saw the faces of the two figures. They were two burly men, both dressed in black. They were about 1.8 meters tall and had bulging muscles, exuding a ferocious aura. Moreover, from the strength of their aura, Qin Feiyang finally judged their cultivation. Peak Undying Realm. That's right. Both of them were at the peak Undying Realm. This was an existence on the same level as Long Zun. They had only been in the Sky Cloud Realm for half a month, and they had already met one Undying Realm expert after another. Even Old Hai, Old Hua, Little Rabbit, and the blood-red clothed old man who ordered the blockade of the sea area were all terrifying existences in the sovereign realm. This place was truly frightening. "Stop." When they were close, Qin Feiyang and the others didn't stop and wanted to leave silently. But suddenly, one of the big men spoke, his voice filled with a fierce aura. "Greetings to the two lords." They were startled and hurriedly bowed. The two big men sized them up and asked, "Where did you get these clothes?" Luo Tianshan sighed, "Not long ago, we were attacked by a group of sea beasts and almost lost our lives." One of the big men asked, "Then have you seen a man and a woman?" "A man and a woman?" Luo Tianshan and the others were stunned. At the same time, Qin Feiyang's heart trembled slightly. Could they be the subordinates of the blood-red clothed old man? Suddenly, Luo Tianshan glanced at Qin Feiyang. Wasn't there a man and a woman? Could it be that these two were talking about the couple in front of them? Qin Feiyang also noticed Luo Tianshan's gaze, but his expression didn't change at all. He looked at the two big men and smiled, "Lord, there are many people in this sea area. If you ask like this, we don't know who you are talking about. Do you know what they look like?" "Yes." "Do you know what they look like?" Luo Tianshan also looked at the two and asked. One of the big men waved his hand, and two figures of a man and a woman appeared. Who else could it be but Qin Feiyang and the mermaid princess? However, Qin Feiyang didn't panic at all and pretended to look at the two figures. Luo Tianshan looked at them for a while, then looked at the two and shook his head, "Never seen them." "We haven't seen them either." Qin Feiyang and the thin middle-aged man also shook their heads. "You really haven't seen them?" Their gazes turned cold as a terrifying divine aura surged toward the group of people. "Lord, we really haven't seen them," Luo Tianshan hurriedly said. Qin Feiyang, the thin middle-aged man, and the others all had panicked expressions. But the difference was, Qin Feiyang was pretending, while Luo Tianshan and the others were really panicking. The two looked at Qin Feiyang and the others for a moment and said coldly, "Then let's go." "Thank you, Lord. Goodbye." Luo Tianshan bowed and said, then winked at Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang came back to his senses and immediately left with the others. Wait. However, after a few steps, one of the big men suddenly spoke again. They stiffened and turned to look at the big man. Luo Tianshan smiled and said, "Lord, is there anything else?" The big man's companion also looked at him suspiciously. The big man looked at his companion and said, "It was said that this couple is quite cunning, so we can't rule out the possibility of changing their appearance." "That makes sense." The companion nodded. Hearing this, Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows without leaving a trace. It seemed that it was impossible to get away with it. Because the big man obviously wanted to verify their identities. Sure enough. The big man looked at Qin Feiyang and the others, took out a few pills, and said coldly, "Take it immediately." "Okay." Luo Tianshan nodded and ran over, grabbed a few pills, and returned to Qin Feiyang and the others, saying, "One for each, take it quickly." After that, he took the lead to take a pill. The thin middle-aged man and the others also stepped forward, took the pills and threw them into their mouths. Qin Feiyang also took a pill, but did not take it. He played with it in his hand. "What are you doing? Take it quickly," Luo Tianshan urged. The two big men also noticed Qin Feiyang's abnormality, and there was a trace of cold light in their eyes. Qin Feiyang smiled and was about to speak. Roar! But then, accompanied by a series of roars, Zhu Xie chased after them with a group of sea beasts. Oh no! Luo Tianshan and the others' faces changed. The two big men also looked at the group of sea beasts and could not help but frown. It was also at this moment. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed, grabbed the pill, and stuffed it into his mouth. But in fact, he did not take it. He only pretended to take it. As for the pill in his hand, he naturally sent it to the Black Tortoise world. "You've finally caught up. Why don't you keep running?" Zhu Xie flew over and sneered. "Shut up!" The two big men shouted, and their pressure shrouded over. Zhu Xie looked at the two, but his expression was not nervous at all. He sneered, "You have accomplices." Chapter 2994. Looking at Zhu Xie's attitude, Qin Feiyang was quite surprised. Facing two peak imperishable realm masters, he was not afraid at all. Where did his confidence come from? The two men couldn't help but frown. "Why do you look so pissed? Is it because of this emperor's attitude that you've lost face?" Hee. "Your cultivations are indeed stronger than mine, but do you know who my boss is?" Zhu Xie sneered. "Who?" The two men looked at him expressionlessly. "My boss is the beast emperor of this area, known as the Sea Lion Emperor." Zhu Xie smiled proudly. Sea Lion Emperor. Luo Tianshan and the others' eyes trembled. "Who is the Sea Lion Emperor?" Qin Feiyang secretly asked suspiciously. "What? You don't even know the Sea Lion Emperor?" Luo Tianshan and the others looked at him in astonishment. Qin Feiyang said, "This is my first time in this sea area. You don't even know the Sea Lion Emperor, and you dare to break in. I really admire you." Luo Tianshan looked at Qin Feiyang speechlessly and explained with a sound transmission, "This Sea Lion Emperor is the beast emperor of this sea region within 100 million miles. As for its strength, no one knows how strong it is." "Sea Lion Emperor," Qin Feiyang murmured. "This Zhu Xie, I guess at best, is a small follower of the Sea Lion Emperor." Luo Tianshan said again. "How do you know?" Qin Feiyang was suspicious. Because this sea lion emperor has a large number of beast kings under his command. These beast kings, the strongest has reached the peak imperishable realm. Luo Tianshan said. Qin Feiyang said in surprise and bewilderment, from what you said, wouldn't this sea lion emperor be a terrifying existence at the sovereign realm? There are rumors saying so. But I don't know the details. Small people like us are not qualified to come in contact with such an existence. Luo Tianshan said. Qin Feiyang was puzzled, then how do you know that the first volume of the pill scripture is here? This, Luo Tianshan hesitated for a moment before replying, to tell you the truth, I'm not sure if the first volume of the alchemy mantra exists. Qin Feiyang was taken aback. I came across a treasure map by accident, said Meng Hao. It's a location marked on the map. It says that an important person once passed away here with the first volume of the Alchemy Codex. Luo Tianshan said. So you're saying that you found this place by following the treasure map? Qin Feiyang said. Yes. Luo Tianshan nodded. Qin Feiyang was speechless. He thought it was true, but he didn't expect it to be just a guess. At this moment, Zhu Xia looked at the two burly men and said proudly, how is it? Are you scared? Humph. One of the big men snorted coldly and took out a token from his bosom. That token was about half the size of an adult's palm. It was completely red as if it was dyed in blood, and there was the word blood carved on it. This is, when Zhu Xia saw the blood-red token, his pupils suddenly shrank. The alligator and other sea beasts behind him were also shocked. What's going on? Qin Feiyang and the others were surprised. Because the two burly men had their backs facing them, they didn't see the blood-red token and didn't understand what was going on. If you dare to be noisy again, not to mention small fish like you, we won't even let the Sea Lion King go. The burly man said gloomily. Zhu Xia's body trembled and he no longer dared to be arrogant. He was as obedient as a little lamb. It's really strange, looking at Zhu Xia's abnormal behavior, Qin Feiyang and the others were surprised. What was it that made Zhu Xia so scared? And this burly man's tone was too arrogant. He wouldn't even let the Sea Lion King go. The two burly men glanced at the sea beasts and turned to look at Qin Feiyang and the others again. This is, the few of them finally saw the blood-red token in the burly man's hand. Luo Tianshan and the others also changed color. Looking at the expressions of Luo Tianshan and the others, Qin Feiyang was even more puzzled and secretly said, Brother Luo, what is this? Why are you so scared? Brother, you don't even know this? Are you still from our sky cloud realm? Luo Tianshan transmitted his voice. Qin Feiyang's heart trembled. Could it be that the existence of this token was something that everyone in the sky cloud realm knew? In that case, would Luo Tianshan doubt his identity? However, Luo Tianshan seemed to be shocked and didn't think much about it. He secretly said, this is the blood token. Blood token? Qin Feiyang was taken aback. Do you know what the blood token represents? That is the blood hall. The blood hall is the most terrifying force in the Western continent. They are everywhere, like ghosts. None of those who have been targeted by them have been able to survive. This blood token is the identity token of a blood hall member. They are actually from the blood hall. Who are the man and woman I saw just now? They actually made the people from the blood hall come to find them personally. Luo Tianshan's heart was terrified to the extreme. Blood hall, Qin Feiyang muttered. He finally figured out the force that Old Hai and the others were from. The burly man holding the blood token in his hand asked, have you all taken it? Yes. Luo Tianshan and the others nodded repeatedly. What about you? The burly man looked at Qin Feiyang. I've taken it too. Qin Feiyang said. I didn't see it. The burly man took out another pill and threw it to Qin Feiyang, take it. Qin Feiyang caught the pill and raised his eyebrows slightly. Hurry up, don't waste our time. The burly man urged. Qin Feiyang suddenly sighed. Everyone looked at him suspiciously. Qin Feiyang looked up at the two burly men, shook his head and sighed. I thought I could get away with it, but I didn't expect the people from the Blood Hall to be so cautious. What do you mean? Luo Tianshan looked at Qin Feiyang suspiciously. When the two burly men heard this, they were slightly stunned at first, but then they stared at Qin Feiyang in surprise. Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and the pill in his hand entered his mouth. His appearance began to change immediately. Soon, his true appearance was restored. What's going on? Luo Tianshan and the others looked at each other. Wasn't this the person the Blood Hall was looking for? You're really cunning. However, no matter how cunning you are, you can't escape the pursuit of our Blood Hall. The two burly men looked at all this with a trace of ridicule on their faces. Sir, this has nothing to do with us. We don't know him at all. Luo Tianshan came back to his senses and hurriedly looked at the two burly men and said. Of course you don't know him because he just entered the Sky Cloud realm not long ago. The burly man sneered. Just entered the Sky Cloud realm not long ago. Luo Tianshan was taken aback. Yes. I'm not from the Sky Cloud realm, so I don't know anything about the Blood Hall or the Sea Lion Emperor you mentioned. Qin Feiyang said lightly. Luo Tianshan looked at Qin Feiyang in astonishment. If you're not from the Sky Cloud realm, then where are you from? Cut the crap. The two burly men glared at Luo Tianshan and looked at Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang, come with us. Where to? Qin Feiyang asked with a smile. Of course to the Blood Hall. The burly man said. What if I don't go? Qin Feiyang asked. You have no choice. Because this is an order from the Blood Hall Master himself. If you don't go, you will be killed on the spot. The burly man's eyes flashed with killing intent. What? The Blood Hall Master himself gave the order. Luo Tianshan and the others looked at each other and couldn't help but feel shocked. Who the hell is this person? What did he do to offend the Blood Hall? He actually provoked the Blood Hall Master to give the order personally. The skinny middle-aged man's eyes flashed slightly and he transmitted his voice, Brother Luo, this is an opportunity. What opportunity? Luo Tianshan was suspicious. An opportunity to please the Blood Hall. As long as we help to take down this person, the Blood Hall will definitely thank us. Maybe if they are in a good mood, they will also let us join the Blood Hall. The skinny middle-aged man secretly said. Luo Tianshan heard this and suddenly felt a rush of excitement. Since he planned to kill this person anyway, he might as well use this opportunity to please the Blood Hall. Thinking of this, the two men suddenly had a strong killing intent and raised their hands at the same time to attack Qin Feiyang from behind. The two burly men were taken aback and then began to ponder. Although they disdained the actions of Luo Tianshan and the skinny middle-aged man, this way, it would save them some effort. Luo Tianshan and the skinny middle-aged man also thought that they would definitely succeed. Because in front of Qin Feiyang, they had always maintained a sincere attitude, so he would definitely not be on guard against them. However, they did not know that Qin Feiyang had already noticed their killing intent. They also did not know that they were facing such a terrifying young man at this time. Whoosh! Just as the two men were about to attack, Qin Feiyang, who had not reacted from the beginning to the end, suddenly took a step forward. It was also with this step that Qin Feiyang disappeared in front of the two men. The two men were stunned. A trace of surprise also appeared on the faces of the two burly men. The next moment, Luo Tianshan and the skinny middle-aged man shuddered. This was because they felt a piercing cold current behind them. They saw that Qin Feiyang was standing behind them. Brother Luo, be careful behind you. Seeing this, the other men quickly reminded them and immediately rushed toward Qin Feiyang. Hearing the few people's warning, Luo Tianshan and the skinny middle-aged man immediately realized that something was wrong. They wanted to avoid it, but it was already too late. Qin Feiyang reached out with both hands and slapped the two men's backs. Puff! The two men spat out a mouthful of blood. Of course, their energy reserves were shattered, and their entire bodies were sent flying like meteorites. What kind of power is this? The few people who rushed toward Qin Feiyang could not help but break and stop behind Qin Feiyang, looking at Qin Feiyang in shock. Even if it was a sneak attack from behind, it was impossible to heavily injure Luo Tianshan and the skinny middle-aged man. After all, Luo Tianshan was at the minor immortal realm. The skinny middle-aged man was also at the minor immortal realm. And this person was only at the half-step immortal realm. A half-step immortal realm cultivator actually heavily injured a minor immortal realm cultivator and a minor immortal realm cultivator with one palm. This was unbelievable. Could it be that he was hiding his cultivation? Those people did not dare to go forward again. They were already shocked by the strength that Qin Feiyang had displayed. Not only did they not go forward, but they also retreated in horror. Qin Feiyang ignored them, and did not pay attention to Luo Tianshan and the skinny middle-aged man. His gaze swept toward Zhu Xia and the other sea beasts. Seeing Qin Feiyang look over, the sea beasts could not help but gulp. In the end, Qin Feiyang's gaze once again landed on the two large men. I didn't expect you to be so strong. The two men were also extremely shocked. Although they knew Qin Feiyang's name and appearance, they did not know much about Qin Feiyang's strength. You flatter me. Qin Feiyang chuckled. Don't be arrogant. Even people stronger than you don't dare to go against our blood palace. Let's go. Follow us to see the palace master. The two men's eyes turned cold. Chapter 2995. Palace Master. Qin Feiyang was taken aback. After pondering for a while, he waved his hand and a shadow appeared. It was the blood-red clothed old man. When they saw the blood-red clothed old man's shadow, the two looked extremely respectful. Qin Feiyang asked, "He is your palace master?" "Yes." The two nodded. "Your blood palace really thinks highly of me. Even your palace master came to find me personally." But, Qin Feiyang raised the corner of his mouth slightly and said, "Didn't your palace master tell you that I have a sovereign divine weapon?" "What? A sovereign divine weapon?" As soon as these words came out, not only the two men, but also Luo Tianshan, giant scorpion, and the other sea beasts trembled. A sovereign divine weapon. What a joke. In the entire sky cloud realm, there were only a handful of sovereign divine weapons. How could a person from the lower realm have such a terrifying weapon? I really didn't tell you. But thinking about it, if I tell you about this, who in your blood palace would dare to find me? Qin Feiyang laughed. Stop pretending. If you have a sovereign divine weapon, I'll write my name backwards. The two men sneered. Qin Feiyang shook his head and asked, "Do you know what you're like now?" The two frowned. Qin Feiyang said, "You're all like that short-sighted frog at the bottom of the well. You're courting death." The two men were furious. Not only was he pretending, but he also humiliated them again and again. They really couldn't stand it. Boom! The two men's aura erupted and turned into an invisible torrent, roaring at Qin Feiyang. "You're the ones courting death." Qin Feiyang's eyes were also filled with killing intent. His mind moved slightly, but the castle didn't appear. What was the meaning of this? Immediately, he was stunned. Don't you have a sovereign divine weapon? What are you still doing there? If you don't take out your sovereign divine weapon, it's an order. Luo Tianshan and the others sneered. Qin Feiyang turned a deaf ear and frowned. What was the meaning of this castle? When facing Old Hai and the dragons, they didn't even need to greet them. But now, he had taken the initiative to let it out, yet he remained still. Wait a minute. Could it be because of the sovereign weapon? Thinking of this, Qin Feiyang shook his head and smiled bitterly. It seemed like it really was because of the sovereign weapon. The reason he fought the dragons was because he had the sacred ice sword. The reason he fought with Old Hai was because of the horsetail whisk. In other words, only when it encountered a sovereign weapon would the castle make a move. In the blink of an eye, the aura of the two men had already arrived. Qin Feiyang's body was instantly lacerated and blood flowed out. After all, this was the aura of someone at the great circle of the imperishable realm. How could he possibly withstand it? Hurry up and show it. What are you standing there for? Are you an idiot? A ruler's weapon can easily kill two lords in a second, said Yi Futian, shaking his head. Stop dawdling. Hurry up and take it out. Let us, the frogs at the bottom of the well, broaden our horizons. Luo Tianshan and the others laughed presumptuously. When the two men heard this, they also looked at Qin Feiyang mockingly. Everyone knew how to brag. But could they be more realistic? If you said that you had a heaven-defying weapon, everyone might believe it. But a ruler's weapon? You dare to say that you have such a weapon? Wasn't this slapping your own face? Did you think that they were scared? That they would immediately run away with their tails between their legs if they said that they had a ruler's weapon? Naive. Whoosh! Qin Feiyang took a deep breath and whispered, "Do I still need a ruler's weapon for small fries like you?" Clang! With a thought, the dragon-slaying sword appeared. The dragon-slaying sword was one of the heaven-defying weapons he had obtained in the Nether King's Hell. Although it was not as powerful as the Sunset Divine Bow, it had been in the land of origin all this time. Its strength had also increased by a lot. This is a heaven-defying weapon. Luo Tianshan and the others narrowed their eyes. Even if it was not a ruler's weapon, it was still shocking enough. Because the heaven-defying weapon's power was comparable to a half-step ruler's. The two men's expressions changed. Although they were both at the peak imperishable realm, they were still too far away from a half-step ruler. Kill them. Qin Feiyang said coldly. Clang! The dragon-slaying sword immediately awakened, and a world-destroying sharpness suddenly surged out. The two men's auras were directly annihilated. Qin Feiyang took out a life-divine pill and threw it into his mouth, looking coldly at the two men. Retreat! Seeing the dragon-slaying sword awakening, the two men's pupils constricted, and they immediately turned and fled. You want to leave after provoking the young master? The dragon-slaying sword's artifact spirit snorted with disdain. Then, the sword tore through the sky and slashed at the two men. Ah! Accompanied by two screams, the two men's blood splattered across the sky. However, they were not dead. The dragon-slaying sword said, "Young master, should we keep them? After all, they are at the peak imperishable realm. They can still run errands. No need. A mere peak imperishable realm can't enter my eyes at all." Qin Feiyang shook his head. Then there's no other way. The young master doesn't like you. Go to hell. The dragon-slaying sword slashed again, and the two men screamed in despair again. Their bodies and souls were destroyed. This, Luo Tianshan and the others, the giant scorpion and the other sea beasts all looked at Qin Feiyang and the dragon-slaying sword in shock. Two peak imperishable realm experts were killed in seconds just like that. And one had to know that they were from the Blood Palace. The Blood Palace was a behemoth that no one dared to provoke. This was a ruthless person. He wasn't even afraid of the Blood Palace. Run! Luo Tianshan roared. Immediately, a group of 7 people, as well as the giant scorpion and other sea beasts, fled frantically. "Since you're all here, then don't leave," Qin Feiyang said. Using the walk formula, he landed in front of the skinny middle-aged man. "Don't kill me," the skinny middle-aged man's body trembled and he hurriedly roared. But before he finished speaking, Qin Feiyang slapped him with his palm, and a terrifying power surged out. The skinny middle-aged man had his chi seed destroyed before, so he could only rely on his divine soul to fight. How could a mere divine soul and divine sense be Qin Feiyang's opponent? However, with just one palm, the divine sense was directly shattered. Immediately after, Qin Feiyang slapped the skinny middle-aged man's head. With a crack, the head exploded like a watermelon, and the divine soul was annihilated on the spot. Clang! At the same time, the dragon-slaying sword carried a sharp edge that could destroy heaven and earth, killing the other 5 people. Looking at this scene, Luo Tianshan stood there in despair, not daring to move. The giant scorpion and other sea beasts were the same. Not to mention the dragon-slaying sword, even Qin Feiyang's strength was not something they could contend with. Qin Feiyang walked step by step in front of Luo Tianshan. Plop! Luo Tianshan immediately knelt in the void, his face pale and trembling. "Is there anything you want to say?" Qin Feiyang said indifferently. Luo Tianshan stammered and panicked. Qin Feiyang said, "Do you think I don't know that you guys have been trying to sneak attack me from behind? You know." Luo Tianshan looked at Qin Feiyang in a daze. "Yes, I know." Qin Feiyang nodded. Luo Tianshan said in surprise, "Since you know, then why didn't you strike first?" Qin Feiyang said, "Because I didn't put you guys in my eyes at all. You guys can do whatever you want." Hearing this, Luo Tianshan couldn't help but smile bitterly. He thought that it was flawless, but he didn't know that the other party had already noticed it. What a joke! Jumping around under the other party's nose was simply a clown. Kill! Luo Tianshan sighed and closed his eyes to wait for death. Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and a puppet imprint appeared, and said, "Don't resist, maybe I'll spare your life." "What is this?" Luo Tianshan opened his eyes and stared at the puppet imprint in surprise. Qin Feiyang didn't answer. With a wave of his hand, the puppet imprint disappeared into Luo Tianshan's sea of consciousness. "Ah!" Luo Tianshan suddenly screamed miserably. At this level, even if the sea of qi was broken and his cultivation was abolished, Qin Feiyang didn't dare to easily use the puppet technique to control others. Because the puppet technique controlled the divine soul. As long as the divine soul was fine, the other party could resist when they were controlled. And the stronger the other party's cultivation, the more terrifying the backlash caused by the resistance. The divine soul would be shattered, and the divine soul would be annihilated. Therefore, the other party must be willing. Especially people like the purple-clothed youth, they left their divine soul in other places and were not afraid of death. Because even if they died, they could be reborn. Therefore, if he was controlled, he would definitely resist desperately. But it was different now. Luo Tianshan was so afraid of death that he obviously didn't leave his divine soul in advance. And in the face of the threat of death, he naturally didn't dare to resist. The most important thing was, Qin Feiyang said that if he didn't resist, he might still keep his life. So in Luo Tianshan's view, this was a glimmer of hope. If there was hope for survival, then of course he had to cooperate. Even if it was only 1 in 10,000. The puppet technique was successfully completed. After all, Luo Tianshan was the strongest in the undead stage. Although Qin Feiyang didn't say it explicitly, he already knew that this was a kind of control-type divine art. Then, Qin Feiyang looked at the giant scorpion and the other sea beasts. A group of sea beasts gathered together and looked at Qin Feiyang with fear and trepidation. The giant scorpion trembled and said, "Let me tell you, this emperor's boss is the Sea Lion Emperor. And then? Qin Feiyang asked faintly. The giant scorpion said, if you dare to touch this emperor, my boss will not let you go. Qin Feiyang smiled and was silent for a long time, then said, tell the Sea Lion Emperor, tell the sea beasts in this sea area not to find trouble with me, otherwise you will have to bear the consequences. You want to let me go? The giant scorpion was stunned. You don't want to leave, do you? Qin Feiyang said indifferently. Think about it. The giant scorpion nodded. Then get out of here. Qin Feiyang shouted. The giant scorpion immediately trembled and ran away with the alligator and the other sea beasts. Kid, you have guts. But don't be complacent too early, this sea area is our territory, if you want to walk out alive, let me tell you, it's difficult. When it was about to disappear, the giant scorpion shouted. Qin Feiyang was taken aback, shook his head and said, I regret not killing it. What it said does make sense. After all, this is their territory, if you can avoid provoking them, try not to. The dragon-slaying sword spirit said. Chapter 2996. That's what I think too. Qin Feiyang nodded his head. Now that he had already provoked a blood haul, if he angered the sea beasts here, it would be adding insult to injury. However, if this giant scorpion really dared to cause trouble for him again, then he would go all out. At most, he would kill his way out. Who? After letting out a long breath, Qin Feiyang waved his hand and appeared in the Black Tortoise realm with the dragon-slaying sword and Luo Tianshan. This is, as soon as Luo Tianshan entered the Black Tortoise realm, he was dumbstruck when he felt the terrifying energy of the crystal vein and the soul vein. Furthermore, this place was way too big. With his initial undead stage cultivation, he was actually unable to see the end. Qin Dage. Feiyang. Fire Lotus and Mermaid Princess greeted him. They had been paying attention to the situation outside, and when they saw that Qin Feiyang was safe and sound, they heaved a sigh of relief. The five-clawed golden dragon and the others were also there. Seeing that Qin Feiyang was fine, they continued to cultivate. Right now, the most important thing was to increase his strength. Because the heavenly cloud realm had already surpassed the ancient realm by too much. Their strength was considered top-notch in the ancient realm, but in the heavenly cloud realm where experts were as common as clouds, they could only be considered mid-tier at most. Moreover, from this battle, they also came to a conclusion. As long as he did not encounter the sovereign divine weapon, then Qin Feiyang would have enough power to protect himself. So in the future, there was no need to worry too much. Qin Feiyang nodded to the two girls, then turned to look at the dragon-slaying sword and said with a smile, you guys have to work hard and quickly catch up with the Sunset Bow and the others. All right. The dragon-slaying sword's artifact spirit replied. Then go. Qin Feiyang waved his hand. The dragon-slaying sword immediately soared into the sky and disappeared without a trace. Luo Tianshan looked around, looked at Qin Feiyang, and asked in surprise, is this really a spatial divine object? If it's not a spatial divine object, then what do you think it is? Qin Feiyang asked playfully. Luo Tianshan murmured, I feel like this place is more like a real world. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. At least he had a good eye. He then looked at Fire Lotus and said, why don't we let Big Black Wolf and Black Panther take care of the Black Tortoise world in the future? Fire Lotus was stunned and asked, why? Qin Feiyang said, you're our hope now, so you have to focus on your cultivation. I'm your hope. Fire Lotus was stunned and bitterly smiled, you're making fun of me, aren't you? There were so many people in the Black Tortoise world, how could it be her turn? For example, the mad scientist grasped the power of 3 laws. In the future, he would definitely become a peak existence. Why would I make fun of you? You've comprehended the laws of time. How terrifying are these laws of time? They can be said to be one of the strongest laws. Once you fully comprehend it, your means will be heaven-defying. Qin Feiyang said. Law of Time. When Luo Tianshan heard this, he looked at Fire Lotus in horror. He thought that she was just a pretty vase, but he didn't expect her to be so terrifying. Qin Feiyang and the others didn't know, but he was born in the Sky Cloud world and was very clear about the situation there. In the entire Sky Cloud world, the number of people who comprehended the laws of time was pitifully few. Fire Lotus heard this, thought for a moment, and smiled. Hearing you say this, it seems to be the case. So, you have to calm down and don't care about the trivial matters of the Black Tortoise world. Qin Feiyang said. But I'm not at ease leaving it to Big Black Wolf and the others. After all, everything in the Black Tortoise world is my painstaking effort. Fire Lotus said. What's there to be worried about? They've been following you for so long, especially the 3 Black Panther brothers. They're by your side almost every day. Even if they're a few idiots, they should have learned it by now. Moreover, they're not stupid. If you're really worried, you can let Pai Lupi and Theta Wang assist them. To be honest, they've been training in the Black Tortoise world for these years, and now their ability is really not small. Qin Feiyang smiled. Then if you let them assist, give them the right to freely enter and exit the Devil's Land. Fire Lotus said. Qin Feiyang said, it's not a big deal to give them this right, after all, they're trustworthy. Fire Lotus pondered for a moment, then nodded, okay, I'll arrange it when I have time. N. Qin Feiyang nodded, then turned to look at Luo Tianshan. Luo Tianshan was now completely confused. Black Tortoise World? Devil's Land? What are these things? He couldn't understand at all. Bear with it. Qin Feiyang said. N. Luo Tianshan was stunned, and then a tearing pain came from his divine soul. That's right. Qin Feiyang was reading his memories. It was too troublesome to ask one by one, so he directly read this person's memories. Fire Lotus and Mermaid Princess also knew what Qin Feiyang was doing. And they knew that this wouldn't be over for a while. After all, Luo Tianshan had a small success Immortal Realm cultivation base, and had experienced countless things in his life. It would take a lot of time to read his memories. Fire Lotus retracted her gaze and closed her eyes. After a while, with a thought, 2 people suddenly appeared in front of her out of thin air. These 2 people were Pai Lupi and Theta Wang. As the current guardian of the Black Tortoise world, Fire Lotus naturally had the ability to capture people across space. N. Pai Lupi and Theta Wang were stunned. But when they saw Qin Feiyang and Fire Lotus, their eyes suddenly trembled, and their expressions became extremely respectful. They bowed and said, "Greetings, Miss Fire Lotus." N. Fire Lotus smiled and said, "I called you over because I have something to discuss with you." "What do you mean?" "All these years, if it weren't for you and the Lord Ruler's care, would the 2 of us have today's status in the Black Tortoise world? You've given us a new lease on life, so if there's anything, just tell us. There's no need to discuss." Pai Lupi and Theta Wang hurriedly said, overwhelmed by the favor. Fire Lotus smiled and pointed to the Mermaid Princess next to her. "Let me introduce you. This is Qin Deja's wife." The 2 of them were slightly stunned and turned to look at the Mermaid Princess. Although the Mermaid Princess had been in the Black Tortoise world for many years, because she rarely appeared, the 2 of them didn't know much about the Mermaid Princess. "We're officially married," Fire Lotus said. Hearing this, the 2 of them hurriedly bowed and said, "Greetings, Lord Ruler's wife." Mermaid Princess waved her hand and said, "No need to be so polite. Just call me sister-in-law from now on." "How can that be?" The 2 of them hurriedly shook their heads. If they called her sister-in-law, wouldn't that make the Lord Ruler their brother? That would be extremely disrespectful. "If I say it's okay, it's okay. Although I haven't officially met the two of you in these years, I know all the contributions you've made to the Black Tortoise world. Especially the help you've given to Feiyang. I'm very grateful. I can also see that Feiyang trusts the two of you, so we'll be a family from now on. A family, of course we can't treat each other like outsiders, right? Mermaid Princess smiled. The two of them looked at each other. To tell the truth, they were originally two small characters. It was because of the care of Qin Feiyang and Fire Lotus that they had today's status. In their hearts, they had always thought of themselves as the subordinates of Qin Feiyang and Fire Lotus. What family? They didn't even dare to think about it. Because in their opinion, this was climbing up the social ladder. Therefore, when they heard Mermaid Princess words, they were extremely touched. But at the same time, they were a little flustered. After all, they were already used to this way of getting along. Suddenly becoming a family really made them feel a little scared. The two of them couldn't help but look at Qin Feiyang, but Qin Feiyang was obviously busy right now, so they didn't want to disturb him. So, they looked at Fire Lotus. Let's listen to her. Fire Lotus smiled. The two of them looked at each other, then bowed and said, "Then we'll respectfully accept." The Mermaid Princess smiled faintly. Pai Lupi asked, "Miss Fire Lotus, sister-in-law, then what exactly do you want us to do?" Fire Lotus smiled and said, "From now on, the two of you can freely enter and exit the Devil's Land." What? The two of them were shocked. In their eyes, the Devil's Land was a holy land that absolutely couldn't be touched. But now, they were actually told that they could freely enter and exit. What was going on? Fire Lotus said, "This is to make it easier for you to manage the Black Tortoise world in the future." Manage the Black Tortoise world? The two of them were shocked again. This was something that he had never expected. Such an important task was actually given to them. What's wrong? Are you not happy? Fire Lotus smiled and asked. No. We're more than happy, but we're afraid that we're not up to the task and will disappoint Miss Fire Lotus and sister-in-law's expectations. The two of them said. It's fine. Experience is accumulated slowly. You two will first assist the three Black Wolf and Black Panther brothers. Fire Lotus said. Pai Lupi glanced at Qin Feiyang and asked, "Then, does the ruler agree to this?" "This is what he wants." Fire Lotus smiled. The two of them looked at each other, then knelt in the void and respectfully said, "Thank you for Miss Fire Lotus's nurturing, we will definitely do our best to manage the Black Tortoise world." "Don't kneel so easily. We don't like this. If Qin Dage sees this, he will instead blame you, quickly get up." Fire Lotus smiled. "Yes." The two of them respectfully replied and stood up, their faces full of smiles. With this, their status in the Black Tortoise world soared again. As expected. When following others, they had to follow the right people. For example, if it was the dragons, how could they receive such treatment? Alright, go find the three Black Wolf and Black Panther brothers, and learn from them. Fire Lotus waved her hand. Yes. The two of them replied and looked down at the herb field below, quickly finding the three Black Wolf and Black Panther brothers on the west side of the herb field. Immediately. The two of them bowed and flew towards the three Black Wolf and Black Panther brothers. Mermaid Princess looked at their backs and smiled, this person's ability is truly unpredictable. Yes. Thinking back to when they were in Fan Yinjiang City Lord's mansion, they were just two unknown guards. Who would have thought that one day, they would become the managers of such a large world? It's still the same thing, you have to follow the right people, if you follow the dragons, you are destined to be unknown for the rest of your life. Fire Lotus shook her head and smiled. Mermaid Princess smiled faintly, then the two of them became silent, quietly looking at Qin Feiyang. Chapter 2997. Time passed by little by little. It wasn't until evening that the memory reading ended. So fast. But Fire Lotus and Mermaid Princess were very surprised. Because according to their estimation, it would take at least 10 days to half a month. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, "I just read the basic memories about the Tianyun realm." "I see." The Mermaid Princess nodded in realization. Fire Lotus asked, "What's the situation in the Tianyun realm?" "You don't know, but the Tianyun realm is really a terrifying place." Qin Feiyang shook his head. "Terrifying?" The two looked at each other. Let's talk about the geography of the Tianyun realm first. There are 4 continents in the entire Tianyun realm. They are the Eastern Continent, the Western Continent, the Northern Continent, and the Southern Continent. Do you know how big these 4 continents are? It's no exaggeration to say that any continent is comparable to the entire ancient realm. Qin Feiyang said. The entire ancient realm? The two were shocked. Yes. Only the Divine Land and the 4 major regions can compare to the Tianyun realm. Qin Feiyang nodded. Mermaid Princess said in surprise, "Then according to what you said, the Tianyun realm is as big as 4 ancient realms?" "More than that." Qin Feiyang shook his head. "More than that?" Mermaid Princess was stunned. "Yes. In addition to these 4 continents, there is a bigger place." Qin Feiyang said. "Where?" The two were surprised. It was bigger than the 4 continents. It's the sea area where we are now. This sea area is called the Tianyun Sea. The size of the Tianyun Sea is about the same as the 4 continents. In other words, it needs 5 ancient realms to be comparable to the Tianyun realm. Qin Feiyang said. The two took a deep breath, trying to calm the shock in their hearts, but they couldn't. In their opinion, the ancient realms were big enough, but the Tianyun realm was as big as 5 ancient realms. This was too inconceivable. Then wouldn't it be difficult for us to cross the sky cloud realm in a short period of time with our cultivation? Fire Lotus said. That's for sure. Qin Feiyang nodded. All right. Fire Lotus nodded. She had finally seen what a great world was. Compared to the sky cloud realm, the black tortoise realm was just the tip of the iceberg. Where is the blood hall? The mermaid princess asked. Western continent. Qin Feiyang said. Western continent. The mermaid princess stared blankly for a moment before coming to a realization. No wonder that little rabbit told us to head east. It wants us to avoid being hunted down by the western continent. Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded and said with a smile, looks like our 100 jars of celestial immortal wine were not given in vain. The mermaid princess shook her head and smiled, but what does it mean when it says that someone might come to help us? I'm not sure about that. But I think it should be related to the major forces of the eastern continent. Qin Feiyang guessed. What do you mean? The mermaid princess was suspicious. There are actually disputes between the 4 continents. Especially between the eastern and western continents. The 2 continents have been fighting openly and secretly for many years. And every few days, there will be a war between the 2 sides. The little rabbit told us to go to the eastern continent. It probably wants us to go there to seek refuge. Qin Feiyang said. Fire Lotus asked, what about Elder Hua? Which force does he belong to? I didn't find this in Luo Tianshan's memory. Luo Tianshan is just a small figure in the sky cloud realm. He is not qualified to come into contact with such a level of powerhouse. But I guess this Elder Hua should belong to some force in the eastern continent. Because in the space-time transmission channel, he said that he is Elder Hai's opponent. Qin Feiyang analyzed. Makes sense. The mermaid princess and Fire Lotus nodded. Although Luo Tianshan is not qualified to come into contact with a powerhouse like Elder Hua, he should know about the major forces in the eastern continent. Fire Lotus said. Luo Tianshan is from the eastern continent. Of course he knows. The most terrifying force in the eastern continent is a force called the demonic palace. The overall force of the demonic palace is on par with the blood palace in the western continent. Qin Feiyang said. Demonic palace, Fire Lotus murmured and frowned, why do I feel that this name doesn't sound like a good person? Even the name of the blood palace is the same. We can't tell whether they are good or bad from a name. The demons in this world are not unforgivable. Qin Feiyang said with a smile. Fire Lotus shook her head and smiled, I am narrow-minded. Of course. Since it is called the demonic palace, then the people of the demonic palace must be very cruel. So after entering the eastern continent, we better not get involved with them. Just in case. Qin Feiyang said. Fire Lotus nodded. The mermaid princess asked, what about the distribution of forces in the heavenly cloud sea? The heavenly cloud sea is undoubtedly a paradise for sea beasts. And the heavenly cloud sea is located at the center of the heavenly cloud realm. In other words, the 4 continents surround the heavenly cloud sea. According to my speculation, the island where the little rabbit is located is the boundary between the 4 continents. Qin Feiyang said with a smile. Is that so? Fire Lotus murmured. As for the sea beasts here, they are not ordinary terrifying. There are a total of 8 great beast emperors here. They each control this sea area, and the sea lion emperor is one of them. The strength of these 8 great beast emperors is heaven-defying. And above the 8 great beast emperors, there is an even more terrifying existence. This is the legendary beast god. Qin Feiyang said. Beast god? The two were slightly taken aback and frowned, it can't be that small beast, right? Small beast? There is no such thing in Luo Tianshan's memory. Because this beast god has always been very mysterious. There are many people who know about it, but those who have seen it are probably only the people with the highest authority in the 4 continents. But I think it shouldn't be the small beast. After all, it is the companion of the god of creation. How could it have the leisure to come and rule this sea area? Qin Feiyang said. I hope it's not it. Fire Lotus sighed and was a little worried. Qin Feiyang said, if it's really it, I want to try and see if the castle can suppress it. Over the years, the castle had grown a lot and was stronger than before it was sealed. Against the small beast, it might have the strength to fight. Mermaid Princess asked, then are there many sovereign weapons here? Not many. There are only a few. According to Luo Tianshan's memory, only the strongest forces, such as the Demon Hall and the Blood Hall, have them. Qin Feiyang said. Mermaid Princess nodded and said with a smile, if that's the case, it won't be difficult for Elder Hua to guess. Yes. He should be one of these super powerful people. And he should be hiding his cultivation like Elder Hai. Qin Feiyang said. Fire Lotus said, what about the southern and northern continents? The strongest forces in these 2 continents are the Heavenly Hall and the Divine Hall. Just like their names, the people of these 2 forces are more benevolent and generous. But this is only on the surface. We will only know their true character after we get to know them. Qin Feiyang said. Mermaid Princess and Fire Lotus couldn't help but nod. Indeed. Before they really got to know them, they couldn't judge carelessly. Qin Feiyang said with a smile, then let's stop here first. We'll talk about the rest later. Okay. The 2 nodded. Mermaid Princess looked at Luo Tianshan, who was standing at the side with an uneasy face, and asked, what should we do with him? Him. Qin Feiyang also turned to look at Luo Tianshan. Don't kill me, although I'm not strong, I know the Sky Cloud Realm well. You just came to the Sky Cloud Realm, you will definitely need me. Luo Tianshan shuddered and quickly looked at the 3. No need. Qin Feiyang shook his head. With a thought, Luo Tianshan lost consciousness and became a puppet. This was the puppet technique. No matter how powerful a person was, as long as they were controlled, they could be turned into a puppet without consciousness. Fire Lotus suddenly thought of something and asked, Qin Dage, is there any information about that badge in his memory? No. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Then it seems that this badge is really not simple. How about, we listen to that little rabbit and throw it away? Fire Lotus said. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, since it's so important, wouldn't it be a pity to throw it away? But, Fire Lotus frowned. It's okay. I know what to do. Qin Feiyang smiled slightly. Okay. Fire Lotus nodded. Qin Feiyang said, okay then, I'll go out first. You guys work hard to cultivate. Take me with you. Mermaid Princess said. Qin Feiyang was stunned and said speechlessly, you really want to follow me outside and take risks? Why? You don't want to. Mermaid Princess pouted. Qin Feiyang said, no, I'm concerned about you. I want to follow you. Mermaid Princess stepped forward and firmly hugged Qin Feiyang's arm. Qin Feiyang looked at Fire Lotus for help. Don't involve me in the matter between you two. Fire Lotus chuckled and turned around to leave without looking back. This girl. Qin Feiyang was helpless. Okay, I know you're doing this for my own good. I'm not that kind of clingy woman. Be careful. I'll take the opportunity to comprehend the power of law. Mermaid Princess let go of Qin Feiyang and said. Thank you, wifey, I'll reward you. Qin Feiyang chuckled and kissed Mermaid Princess on her face when she wasn't paying attention. The Mermaid Princess froze. She quickly looked around and said angrily, can you be more serious? What if someone sees us? So what if they see us? I say, wifey, you have to change your mindset. Now that we're married, what's there to be afraid of? Qin Feiyang said. Mermaid Princess was stunned and said, that's true, but I feel that it would be a little embarrassing if someone sees us. Get used to it. Qin Feiyang grinned and kissed Mermaid Princess on her face again before leaving the Black Tortoise world with Luo Tianshan. Outside. Although it was already night in the Black Tortoise world, only an instant had passed outside. After all, one day was 1,000 years. The fluctuations of the battle from before were still surging above the sea. Huge waves were surging below. In those huge waves, one could faintly see sea beasts staring at Qin Feiyang, their fierce eyes filled with fear. Chapter 2998. You stay here and wait for the people from the Blood Hall. Qin Feiyang glanced at the sea beasts in the sea and said to Luo Tianshan next to him. Yes. Luo Tianshan nodded, his eyes were empty. Whoosh. Then. Qin Feiyang turned around and left alone, quickly disappearing into the eastern sea. Soon. More than a dozen figures broke through the air. They were all middle-aged men and women, coming from different directions. Without exception, their cultivation had all reached the perfection undead stage. This was a rather terrifying lineup. More than a dozen perfection undead stage cultivators, everyone in the ancient world didn't even dare to think about it. In the entire ancient world, there was only Long Zun. Even the 4 guardians of the ancient world were only at the perfection undead stage. Who are you? Did you see these 2 people? More than a dozen people landed around Luo Tianshan. One of the old women waved her hand and condensed the 2 figures of the burly man. Because here, they caught the aura left behind by the burly man and the burly man. Moreover, they were also attracted by the fluctuations. But in the face of these people's questions, Luo Tianshan's face was dull and his eyes were empty, as if he didn't hear them. We're asking you a question. The old woman shouted. But Luo Tianshan was still the same. What's going on? Looking at his appearance, it seems that something is wrong. The others looked at the dull Luo Tianshan and couldn't help but frown. At the same time, in the sky millions of miles away, a figure was moving as fast as lightning. It was Qin Feiyang. Suddenly, he stopped in the void with a trace of playfulness in his eyes. Then, he closed his eyes. "You're courting death." Seeing that Luo Tianshan was still silent, as if he didn't see them, the old woman couldn't help but be furious. But at this moment, Luo Tianshan's empty eyes suddenly looked at the old woman and the others and asked, "You're from the Blood Hall?" "That's right." The old woman nodded. "I've been waiting for you." Luo Tianshan suddenly smiled. This smile was very strange. In the eyes of the old woman and the others, they couldn't help but feel scared. "Do you know who I am?" Luo Tianshan spoke again. "Who?" The group of people frowned. Luo Tianshan said, "I am the person you are looking for, Qin Feiyang." "What? Are you Qin Feiyang?" Everyone was stunned. "To be exact, this is one of my puppets. I am communicating with you through my puppet. This puppet is also a gift from me to the two of you. As for your two companions, don't bother looking for them because they are already dead. I hope you like this gift." The strange smile on Luo Tianshan's face grew wider. Following closely. With a loud bang, Luo Tian Mountain exploded in the sky above the sea. The destructive shockwave instantly drowned the old woman and the others. "Bastard!" The group of people was furious. They all unleashed their auras and ran out in a sorry state. Luo Tianshan was only at the small success undead realm, while they were all at the great perfection undead realm. Therefore, even if Luo Tianshan self-destructed, it would not pose a fatal threat to them. However, this kind of naked provocation made them very angry. Especially when it was a provocation from a lower realm. "Where is this little bastard hiding?" The group of people scanned the surrounding sea with a gloomy face. They had been tricked by the other party in their first fight. As a great perfection undead realm expert, their self-esteem absolutely could not tolerate this kind of thing. The old woman turned her head to look at her companions and asked, "Which direction did you all come from?" "I came from the northwest direction." "I came from the southwest direction." More than a dozen people spoke one after another. They came from different directions, but none of them came from the east. If he ran in another direction, he would have definitely met us. But now, we haven't seen him, so there is only one possibility. He went in the direction of the eastern continent. The old woman said in a deep voice. The group of people frowned. Isn't this his first time in the sky cloud boundary? Why would he go straight to the eastern continent? A middle-aged man said. "Don't forget, before we set off, Old Hai said that Old Man Hua from the eastern continent went to intercept them. I think this should have something to do with Old Man Hua." The old woman said. "So, he is now with Old Man Hua?" The middle-aged man was surprised. "Impossible. If he is really with Old Man Hua, then he should have entered the eastern continent long ago. But now, he is still wandering in the sky cloud ocean. Moreover, the spies we planted in the Demon Palace are now watching the higher-ups of the Demon Palace. It is said that Old Man Hua has returned to the Demon Palace, and he went back alone." The old woman said. "So, this person is indeed alone in the sky cloud ocean now. But how did he kill Zhang Lu and the others alone? You know, both of them are in the great perfection undead realm. And this Qin Feiyang, according to the palace master, seems to be in the half-step undead realm. Is the palace master hiding something from us?" The middle-aged man looked at the old woman suspiciously. "Presumptuous. Is this something you can speculate? If the palace master knows, you won't even know how you died." The old woman immediately angrily rebuked. The middle-aged man's pupils shrank, and he said with an embarrassed smile, "There are only a few of us here. I will pay attention next time. You'd better pay attention. The old woman glared at him, and then looked at the others, saying, even if the palace master is hiding something from us, we can't question him. What we have to do is to obey his orders. Yes. Everyone nodded. The old woman continued, although I don't know what this Qin Feiyang is capable of, he must have something to rely on since he can kill Zhang Lu and the others and provoke us. So, we must be careful. Hearing this, everyone nodded again. The old woman raised her head and looked to the east. Although her face looked calm, her heart was beating fast. He could kill two great perfection undead realm experts. What kind of means does he have? After pondering for a while, the old woman suddenly looked at the sea below. The fluctuations of the battle were so great that the sea beasts below must have noticed it. Maybe they saw Qin Feiyang with their own eyes. The old woman looked at her two companions and said, you two go down and catch a sea beast. Okay. The two nodded and then rushed into the sea. Roar. After a while, accompanied by a deafening beast roar, a seal was forcibly brought out by the two. What are you doing? This is the heavenly cloud sea. Even if you are from the blood hall, you can't be presumptuous. The seal roared. But the blood hall is not afraid of the heavenly cloud sea. Tell me immediately. How did Qin Feiyang kill Zhang Lu and the others? The old woman shouted. I can't say. The seal shook its head. You can't say. The old woman raised her eyebrows. Yes. Not long ago, all the sea beasts in the heavenly cloud sea heard the beast god's order. The seal said. The old woman and the others looked at each other. The beast god's order. The middle-aged man next to them asked, what order? No one can leak the matter about Qin Feiyang, so you'd better not do anything to us. The seal sneered. I don't believe that the beast god will help a human from the lower world. You won't say it, right? I'll force you to say it. The middle-aged man stepped forward and pointed at the seal's forehead. A deadly sense of danger swept across the place. The seal trembled and roared, I really can't say it. Then you can go to hell. The middle-aged man sneered. However, at this moment, a divine light fell from the sky, carrying an apocalyptic aura, blasted toward the middle-aged man. This is, the group of people suddenly changed color. Especially the middle-aged man, his face was full of fear. This is the beast god's punishment. Lord Beast God, I didn't do it on purpose. Please have mercy on me. The middle-aged man immediately knelt in the void and roared. However, that divine light showed no signs of stopping. Beast God, the middle-aged man roared in despair. Boom! With a loud bang, the divine light arrived. The middle-aged man was destroyed on the spot. Seeing this, the seal immediately turned around and fled into the sea, disappearing. The old woman and the others also looked at the place where the middle-aged man disappeared with fear. That's right. He just disappeared. Not a trace was left, as if he disappeared from the world. This is the beast god that rules the heavenly cloud sea. Everything in the heavenly cloud sea is under its control. With the death of the middle-aged man, the old woman and the others no longer dared to have any ideas about the sea beasts in the heavenly cloud sea. Because this is an action that will cause them to lose their lives. Similarly, this also means that the beast god is deliberately protecting Qin Feiyang. The beast god is protecting Qin Feiyang. What a shocking thing this was. The group of people could no longer remain calm and didn't even dare to continue chasing. What should we do? The group of people looked at the old woman, at a loss. How would I know? The old woman angrily said. This is already beyond the scope of her ability. After pondering for a moment, the old woman suddenly took out a pebble-like crystal. This crystal is diamond-shaped, crystal clear, like an exquisite piece of art. As the old woman's divine power poured in, the crystal began to shine. Not long after, a shadow appeared. If Qin Feiyang was here, he would definitely be surprised. Because the function of this crystal is the same as the image crystal, but it is not the image crystal that he is familiar with. The shadow that appeared is a black-clothed young man. He is about 1.8 meters tall, and his hair is as black as ink. Although he looks young, there is an unconcealable vicissitude between his eyebrows. And his expression is very cold. "Greetings, Grand Deacon." The old woman bowed. The middle-aged man and the others looked at the black-clothed young man with respect. The black-clothed young man nodded and asked, "What's the matter?" Even his voice is full of indifference, as if he is an emotionless person. The old woman respectfully said, "Reporting to Grand Deacon, we have found Qin Feiyang's whereabouts." "Where is he?" The black-clothed young man's eyes suddenly flashed with cold light. The old woman said, "According to our analysis, he should be on the way to the eastern continent." "Going to the eastern continent?" The black-clothed young man was stunned and frowned. "Didn't our people search from the eastern continent?" "Yes. But they have died in the hands of Qin Feiyang." The old woman said truthfully. Chapter 2999. What? The black-robed young man's cold face suddenly showed a trace of shock. He knew very well that the people he sent this time were all at the peak imperishable realm. Wasn't a peak imperishable realm cultivator more than enough to deal with Qin Feiyang? How could it be that their people had been killed by Qin Feiyang? The old woman hesitated for a moment and said respectfully, "Grand Deacon, there's something I don't know if I should say." "Say it." The Grand Deacon said, seemingly very annoyed. The old woman said carefully, "We suspect that the temple master is hiding something from us." "How dare you? Do you know what you're saying?" The black-robed young man was furious. "Please forgive me, Grand Deacon." The old woman trembled and hurriedly knelt in the air. The black-robed young man looked at her coldly and said after a long time, "Don't say such things again. Chase after him immediately and report to me when you find him." But, the old woman was terrified. "Any other questions?" The black-robed young man frowned. "Earlier, we found a seal nearby and tried to get some information from it. But guess what? It actually said that the beast god ordered that no sea beast is allowed to leak information about Qin Feiyang." The old woman said. "What? The beast god ordered?" The black-robed young man was stunned. "Yes. This is absolutely true. And just now, one of our companions tried to force the seal to speak, but he was punished by the beast god when he was about to attack." The old woman said in a deep voice. "The beast god's punishment." The black-robed young man's eyes trembled. The beast god rarely acts, but this time, he actually helped Qin Feiyang kill our people. What does this mean? This means that Qin Feiyang and the beast god must have some kind of unknown relationship. The old woman said. The black-robed young man recovered after a long time and asked, "Are you sure?" "Yes." The old woman nodded. "Then it seems that there's something fishy going on." The black-robed young man pondered for a while and said to the old woman, "How about this? Chase after him first, but don't attack. Wait for my orders." "Yes." The old woman respectfully replied. Then, the black-clothed young man's shadow dissipated. The old woman wiped away the cold sweat on her forehead and looked at the middle-aged man and the others. She sighed and said, "Look, even the great deacon is so serious after hearing about this. We can't be careless." "Yes." The middle-aged man and the others nodded. In the heavenly cloud sea, the beast god is the heavens. Whoever dared to challenge the beast god's dignity would only have death waiting for them. On a certain island, a black-clothed youth stood on top of a mountain peak, looking at the sea in front of him. There was a trace of doubt in his cold eyes. In his hand, there was also a crystal that looked exactly the same. This person was the Grand Deacon who had spoken to the old woman earlier. Sigh. Things are getting serious. Suddenly, the black-clothed young man sighed and recovered the crystal in his hand. Whine. Soon, a shadow appeared. It was an old man in blood-red clothes. His entire body was like a blood demon, emitting a terrifying murderous aura. Greetings, Hall Master. The black-clothed youth bowed. Have you found the whereabouts of Qin Feiyang? The old man asked. Yes. The black-clothed youth nodded. The old man in blood-red clothes immediately perked up and said, Where is he? He's on his way to the eastern continent. The black-clothed youth answered truthfully. The eastern continent? The old man in blood-red clothes raised his eyebrows when he heard this. Yes. The black-clothed youth nodded and said, There's one more thing. The beast god's punishment has appeared. What? The old man in blood-red clothes was sitting on a chair. Hearing this, he suddenly stood up. The black-clothed youth briefly explained the situation that the old woman had reported to him. That bastard really likes to meddle in other people's business. The old man in blood-red clothes was furious when he heard this. It's not a big deal if it's just meddling in other people's business. I'm just afraid that it has some kind of relationship with Qin Feiyang. If that's the case, our actions will definitely be affected. The black-clothed youth was a little worried. The old man in blood-red clothes' face suddenly became gloomy. And, the black-clothed youth hesitated and looked at the old man in blood-red clothes. Hall Master, are you hiding something from us? What are you hiding? The old man in blood-red clothes looked at the youth expressionlessly. I'm hiding Qin Feiyang's strength. The black-clothed youth said. The old man in blood-red clothes immediately raised his eyebrows. The black-clothed youth sighed deeply. Hall Master, although it's a little disrespectful to you, I still want to say that we can't treat our subordinates as cannon fodder. How dare you? The old man in blood-red clothes immediately glared at the youth. Please forgive me, Hall Master. The black-clothed youth lowered his head, but he didn't look very scared. Alas! The old man in blood-red clothes looked at the black-clothed youth and sighed after a long time. I did hide Qin Feiyang's strength from you. The black-clothed youth was shocked and said respectfully, I'd like to hear the details. Although he's only at the half-step eternal realm, his means are extraordinarily strong. The most frightening thing is that he has no less than 10 heaven-defying divine weapons. The old man in blood-red clothes said. Heaven-defying divine weapons? The black-clothed youth was a little stunned. No wonder he could kill Zhang Lu and the others. Although a peak eternal realm expert was strong, he was still far from being able to face a heaven-defying divine weapon. Moreover, his heaven-defying divine weapons have already broken the limit of heaven-defying divine weapons. The old man in blood-red clothes sighed and looked a little helpless. Broken the limit of heaven-defying divine weapons? The black-clothed youth was stunned. Yes. Although they haven't reached the level of a sovereign weapon, their power has already far surpassed that level. I think that even a half-step sovereign weapon can be instantly killed by these heaven-defying divine weapons. The old man in blood-red clothes said. The black-clothed youth was stunned. The old man in blood-red clothes continued, in addition, he has an even more frightening divine weapon. An even more frightening divine weapon? The black-clothed youth was shocked. Even more frightening than a heaven-defying divine weapon? He said in surprise, is it a sovereign weapon? Yes. The old man in blood-red clothes nodded. How is that possible? The black-clothed youth's eyes trembled. Even the sky cloud realm didn't have many sovereign weapons, but Qin Feiyang, a person from the lower realm, had such a divine weapon. Otherwise, why do you think Old Hai and the others brought our sovereign weapons to the lower realm? This boy can't be underestimated. However, This kid must be captured. The old man in blood-red clothes said. Why? To be honest, we have no enmity with him. There's no need to go against him. The black-clothed youth frowned. Of course there's no need. But I have no choice. I must take action against him. The old man in blood-red clothes said. No choice. The black-clothed youth's frown deepened. How could the Blood Hall Master, who stood at the top of the pyramid in the Sky Cloud realm, have no choice? Don't ask too much. I'll send the sovereign weapon to help you now. If necessary, don't leave him alive. Just kill him. The old man in blood-red clothes said in a deep voice. The beast god of the Sky Cloud realm? The black-clothed youth asked hesitantly. If it really wanted to protect Qin Feiyang, it wouldn't have just killed one of our subordinates. It would have issued a warning to the Blood Hall. But now, it hasn't. This means that even if it has something to do with Qin Feiyang, it's not that deep. In its eyes, it might just be a fun game. So, we can't be too worried. But just in case, I'll pay attention to it. In short, just don't hurt the sea beasts in the Sky Cloud realm. The old man said. Okay. The Grand Deacon nodded. Back to Qin Feiyang. After Luo Tianshan's self-destruction, he activated the Xing character art and continued to rush toward the eastern continent. He didn't know about the Grand Deacon, the old man, or the beast god's punishment. He didn't care. Now, he just wanted to reach the eastern continent as soon as possible. According to Luo Tianshan's memory, although the Blood Hall's power was terrifying and even spread across the entire Sky Cloud realm, in the face of the equally powerful Demon Hall, they didn't dare to blatantly attack the eastern continent. So, as long as he entered the eastern continent, he could temporarily avoid the Blood Hall's pursuit. And there was still at least half a month's journey from here to the eastern continent. If he could use something like a portal, it would be very fast. But in the Sky Cloud realm, it was impossible to open a portal or a teleportation altar. Here, he could only hurry. Wait. Suddenly, Qin Feiyang patted his head. How could he forget about the space-time gate? After reading Luo Tianshan's memory, he also knew that there were many places in the eastern continent that could be directly teleported there. Sometimes, humans were really muddle-headed. Qin Feiyang shook his head and sighed. He quickly took out the space-time gate and thought for a moment before reviving it. However, just as the space-time gate was about to revive, an invisible force appeared and forcibly cut off the revival of the space-time gate. Who is it? Qin Feiyang was shocked. He looked up at the sky but found that there was no one at all. But there must be someone secretly playing tricks. And this person's strength was definitely not weak. After all, he could forcibly cut off the revival of the space-time gate. After a while, no one appeared. Qin Feiyang opened the space-time gate again. As long as the space-time gate wasn't successfully opened, it didn't count. Clang! With a loud sound, the space-time gate was revived again. But just as it was about to open, the invisible force once again descended from the sky and cut off the revival of the space-time gate. Who the hell is it? Hiding in the dark and playing tricks, is it interesting? Qin Feiyang was seething with anger. This clearly showed that they didn't want him to leave the heavenly cloud sea. Could it be someone from the Blood Hall? But it couldn't be. If it was really someone from the Blood Hall, they would definitely attack him immediately. How could they do such a boring thing? After pondering for a while, Qin Feiyang stepped on the walk-word technique and broke through the sky like lightning. About half an hour passed. He entered the sky above an island. The sea beasts on the island were rampant, but they seemed to be full of fear of Qin Feiyang. None of them ran out to block his way. Looking at this abnormal phenomenon, Qin Feiyang couldn't help but frown. Could it be that the news of him killing the two people from the Blood Hall had already spread among the sea beasts in the heavenly cloud sea? If this was the case, then the speed of the spread was too fast. However, Qin Feiyang didn't think much about it. It was more important to leave the heavenly cloud sea first. He once again revived the space-time gate. Chapter 3000. Just like before, the space-time gate recovered smoothly. This meant that the space-time gate could be opened in the heavenly cloud sea. But suddenly, the mysterious power descended once again. Bastard! Qin Feiyang was furious. Not attacking him, not coming out to see him, just cutting off the space-time gate's recovery. What did this person want to do? However, no matter how Qin Feiyang scolded, the person in the dark did not appear. The sea here, except for the sound of the waves, was dead silent. After a while, Qin Feiyang had no choice but to put away the space-time gate. Don't want him to open the space-time gate and leave the heavenly cloud sea? Fine, then fly to the eastern continent. He used the walk-word technique, left the island, and flew towards the east, but always secretly paid attention to the sky. Not long after Qin Feiyang left, more than a dozen figures followed. It was the old woman and the others. His speed is too fast outside. The group of people frowned. At first, they thought that with their cultivation of the great perfection undead stage, they could easily catch up with Qin Feiyang. But after chasing for a while, they found that this was not the case. The other party's speed was beyond their imagination. So, they could only use the supreme auxiliary divine art. For supreme experts at their level, support-type divine arts weren't rare at all. In this way, they could catch up with Qin Feiyang. After all, their cultivations were 5 levels higher than Qin Feiyang's. Adding on the fact that they had utmost exalted level supplementary deity techniques, even if Qin Feiyang had the attainment character art, it was impossible for him to be faster than them. However, they did not dare to get too close, and had been following from a distance. Buzz! Suddenly, a buzzing sound rang out. The old woman stopped, looked at her companions, and said, "It should be the Grand Deacon, you guys go catch up first." Okay. The middle-aged man and the others nodded and quickly left. The old woman took out the crystal, and a shadow quickly appeared. It was the Grand Deacon. "Tell me your current coordinates." In less than 3 breaths. Clang! A golden door appeared in the void in front of the old woman. Following, a figure strode out. "Greetings, Grand Deacon." The old woman bowed. The Grand Deacon nodded slightly. He looked around and asked, "Where is he?" The old woman said, "In front. Our people have been following him." "Very good." The Great Deacon nodded. He raised his head and looked to the east. A cold light appeared on his cold face. "Are you going to do it yourself?" the old woman asked in a low voice. "The other party is Qin Feiyang. If I don't do it myself, none of you will be able to catch him." The Grand Deacon took a step forward and landed tens of thousands of miles away. The old woman quickly activated her auxiliary divine art and chased after him, saying, "Although he has a heaven-defying divine artifact, you don't have to do it yourself. Not only does he have a heaven-defying divine weapon, he even has a sovereign weapon." The black-clothed youth shook his head and sighed. "What a troublesome little fellow." "What? Sovereign weapon?" The old woman was stunned. How was this possible? She looked at the black-clothed youth and asked, "Are you sure you're not mistaken?" The black-clothed youth didn't answer. This was because he had already seen the middle-aged man and the group of people in front of him, as well as Qin Feiyang. However, Qin Feiyang didn't notice the black-clothed youth. It wasn't that he was careless. These people were too far away and had concealed their auras. Although the black-clothed youth and the others could see him clearly, he couldn't see them. Due to the huge gap in cultivation, his eyesight couldn't compare to theirs. The higher one's cultivation, the better one's eyesight and the further one could see. However, although he didn't notice the black-clothed youth and the others, he was still vigilant. Needless to say, the Blood Hall wouldn't let him enter the eastern continent easily. A battle could break out at any time. Therefore, he had to be prepared to fight at any time. Grand Deacon. When the black-clothed youth and the old woman landed in front of the middle-aged man and the others, the group of people quickly bowed. You can leave now. The Grand Deacon put his hands behind his back and said without turning his head. Leave. The group of people was stunned. Just leave when I tell you to. Why are you so long-winded? The old woman turned around and looked at the group of people. Then, she took the lead and left. The middle-aged man and the others were stunned for a moment before they quickly chased after the old woman. What's going on? The middle-aged man asked in a low voice. The Grand Deacon is doing this for our own good. He's afraid that we'll be implicated because he wants to take action personally. The old woman said. Take action personally. With the Grand Deacon's strength, wouldn't he be able to capture Qin Feiyang alive in minutes? The group of people laughed. Not necessarily. The old woman's gaze was heavy. What's wrong? The group of people looked at her in a daze. The old woman said, I heard from the Grand Deacon that Qin Feiyang has a sovereign divine weapon. A sovereign divine weapon. The group of people was shocked. Boom. Right at this moment, the Grand Deacon, who was standing above the sea in front, released his aura. The sea suddenly boiled. Huge waves of thousands of feet high covered the sky and the earth. The void and the sky were trembling and collapsing. Qin Feiyang, who was hurrying ahead, immediately stopped in the void and turned his head to look. This aura, looking at the collapsing void and sky, Qin Feiyang's expression was full of shock. After reading Luo Tianshan's memory, he knew that the space of Heavenly Cloud Mountain was more stable than other places. For example, the void. In the ancient world, an imperishable realm expert could shatter the void as if it was a joke. However, in the Sky Cloud realm, only a heaven-defying divine weapon and a terrifying existence in the sovereign realm could shatter the void. In other words, if someone could shatter the void in the Sky Cloud realm, then there was no doubt that it must be a sovereign realm existence. In other words, at this moment, a sovereign realm expert was standing in front of him. However, the distance was too far and he couldn't see it. However, this aura was very unfamiliar. It wasn't the blood-red clothed old man or Elder Hua. However, he was sure that the owner of this aura was definitely from the Blood Hall. Because, if it wasn't someone from the Blood Hall, there was no need to release such a terrifying aura. Suddenly, Qin Feiyang's pupils contracted. He saw a black figure stepping on the shattered void and walking over step by step. I don't care who you are. It's best to leave now. Qin Feiyang muttered. He immediately turned around and used the walk formula to escape into the sky. You still want to leave? Seeing this, the black-clothed young man was stunned. Following closely, he took a step forward and crossed the void, instantly landing in front of Qin Feiyang. So fast. Qin Feiyang hurriedly braked and stopped in the void, staring at the back of the black-clothed young man with a face full of shock. What was this person's cultivation? The black-clothed young man slowly turned around and faced Qin Feiyang, his face as cold as ever. Blood Hall. Qin Feiyang frowned. Blood Hall's Grand Deacon. The black-clothed young man nodded. Grand Deacon? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Was his position very high? As if seeing through the doubts in Qin Feiyang's heart, the black-clothed young man said expressionlessly, second only to the two hall masters. Qin Feiyang was shocked. Second only to the hall masters, that was also an existence that stood at the peak of the Sky Cloud realm. Wait. Two hall masters. Qin Feiyang looked at the black-clothed young man suspiciously. Your blood hall has two hall masters. Yes. You should have seen them both. The Grand Deacon nodded. Seen them? Qin Feiyang frowned. He had seen the blood-clothed old man, but who was the other one? Wait. In his mind, an old man with an immortal aura appeared. Qin Feiyang asked, "The other one is Old Hai?" "Yes." The Grand Deacon replied. "I didn't expect him to be the Hall Master of the Blood Hall." Qin Feiyang muttered. "Correction, Old Hai, Deputy Hall Master." The Grand Deacon said. "Deputy Hall Master," Qin Feiyang murmured and wondered, what about the purple-clothed young man who followed Old Hai to the lower realm? Even Old Hai has to listen to him, his position should be higher. Of course. He is the grandson of the Hall Master. The Grand Deacon said. I see. The two Hall Masters, the grandson of the Hall Master, and you, the Grand Deacon, came to find me personally. I have to say, your Blood Hall really thinks highly of me. Qin Feiyang sneered. The black-clothed young man said, so you should take the initiative to follow me to the Blood Hall. To die. Qin Feiyang laughed. The black-clothed young man shook his head and said, I don't know whether I will die or not, but I know that you must come with me today. What if I say no? Qin Feiyang's eyes darkened. Then I can only bring your corpse back to report. Boom. As the black-clothed young man's voice fell, a monstrous pressure rushed toward Qin Feiyang. Bring my corpse back. Even Old Hai can't do it, let alone you. Qin Feiyang shouted. With a clang, the golden scale sword appeared out of thin air. The dragon-slaying sword was far from enough to deal with this black-clothed young man, so he directly summoned the golden scale sword. The golden scale sword had cultivated in the land of origin for many years, and its strength was comparable to a low-stage dominator. Perhaps, he would be able to put up a fight. That's right. He didn't have much confidence in the golden scale sword. After all, this person was the third strongest person in the Blood Hall. As expected, it has broken the boundary of a heaven-defying divine artifact. Looking at the golden scale sword, the black-clothed young man muttered expressionlessly and took a step forward. Clang! The golden scale sword also knew that this was a strong enemy, so it instantly recovered and slashed without holding back. Even so, the black-clothed young man's expression didn't change. Even Qin Feiyang could faintly catch a trace of disdain in his eyes. In an instant, the golden scale sword and the black-clothed young man clashed. The black-clothed young man raised his arm and stretched out his index finger, and a trace of divine power appeared on his fingertip. Immediately after, under Qin Feiyang's shocked gaze, the black-clothed young man actually used his fingertip to meet the golden scale sword. Clang! The two instantly met. The golden scale sword's blade flashed coldly, but it was directly blocked by the black-clothed young man's fingertip. That's right. The black-clothed young man only used one finger to block the golden scale sword's full-strength attack. What was more terrifying was the fingertip that collided with the golden scale sword didn't have a single wound. So strong, Qin Feiyang muttered, and his heart was in turmoil. He originally thought that even if the golden scale sword couldn't win, it should be able to contend with him. But now, what appeared in front of him was a huge gap. He felt that the golden scale sword was as weak as a newborn baby in front of the black-clothed young man. Chapter 3001. Compared to the shocked Qin Feiyang, the black-clothed youth was very calm. Beyond the boundary of a heaven-defying divine artifact, it doesn't seem like much. The black-clothed youth whispered and flicked his finger. With a loud clang, the golden scale sword shattered on the spot. What? Qin Feiyang was extremely shocked and quickly sent the golden scale sword to the black tortoise world. Otherwise, the golden scale sword would definitely be destroyed in the black-clothed youth's hands. Do you understand my strength now? The black-clothed youth looked at Qin Feiyang indifferently. Qin Feiyang remained silent. Come with me, lest I have to act. Don't think that you'll be as lucky as you were in the space-time tunnel. No one will come to help you now. The black-clothed youth said expressionlessly. In other words, there would be no one like Elder Hua to help him this time. Qin Feiyang remained silent. It seems that I really have to act. The black-clothed youth shook his head and took a step forward. He landed in front of Qin Feiyang and raised his arm. His 5 fingers were like an eagle's claw as he grabbed at Qin Feiyang's arm. Swish! Qin Feiyang immediately activated the Xing character art. Boom! However, the black-clothed youth seemed to have expected it. A terrifying pressure surged and Qin Feiyang was immediately imprisoned in the void. What a strong pressure! Qin Feiyang's heart trembled. Was this the strength of the 3rd strongest person in the blood hall? It seemed that other than the ancient castle, he wasn't a match for this level of expert at all. No. Calling him an opponent was too flattering. He wasn't even qualified to be this person's opponent. Sky Cloud Realm, this was a place that made people feel awe. However, wasn't this situation the same as when he first entered the ancient world? Thinking back, when he first entered the ancient world, he was also an insignificant person. Any one of the ferocious beasts was enough to tear him apart. But in the end, under his efforts, didn't he also step onto the peak of the ancient world? Now that he was in the Sky Cloud Realm, although this place was more terrifying than the ancient world, as long as he was given time, he had the confidence to step onto the peak of the Sky Cloud Realm. Clang! Accompanied by a deafening boom, the ancient castle took the initiative to appear. The palm-sized ancient castle blasted toward the black-robed youth with the power to destroy the world. Generally speaking, no one would be able to dodge such a sudden attack. However, the black-clothed youth seemed to have expected this. The moment the ancient castle appeared, he immediately retreated. At the same time, a horsetail whisk appeared. The horsetail whisk exuded a monstrous divine might as it collided with the ancient castle. Rumble! When the 2 sovereign divine weapons clashed, the void instantly collapsed. A terrifying aura swept out in all directions. Fortunately, the sea beasts in this area had fled the moment the 2 of them started fighting. Otherwise, there would be millions of corpses lying on the ground. It really is a sovereign weapon. Who the hell is this guy? In the distance. When the old woman and the others saw this scene, their faces were filled with shock. He had thought that the great deacon was joking. After all, this person came from the lower realm. In their opinion, the people of the lower realms had never even heard of a sovereign weapon, let alone possessed one. However, they didn't expect it to be true. They were facing someone who had a dominator weapon. When they recalled their initial disdain for this person, they couldn't help but feel a lingering fear. Fortunately, they didn't act rashly. Otherwise, they wouldn't even know how they died. After the 2 sovereign divine weapons clashed, they quickly returned to Qin Feiyang and the black-clothed youth. You know that. Even if you have a sovereign divine weapon, you are still no match for me. The black-clothed youth looked at Qin Feiyang and said. Qin Feiyang didn't deny it. This was because the horsetail whisk was enough to restrain the ancient castle. Once the ancient castle was restrained, the black-clothed youth would be able to kill him. Sovereign realm experts were all people who had completely comprehended a type of law. They had heaven-defying means. Therefore, you should know your place. Don't put up a pointless struggle. The black-clothed youth's eyes were like a pool of stagnant water. It was as if nothing could move him. Whoosh! As soon as the black-clothed youth finished speaking, the ancient castle released a wisp of divine might. It wrapped around Qin Feiyang and flew away. It also knew that it wouldn't do any good to Qin Feiyang if they continued to fight. It was the wisest choice to temporarily avoid the sharp edge. This sudden action caused the black-clothed youth to be involuntarily stunned. Although he didn't know Qin Feiyang well, judging from Qin Feiyang's provocation of the Blood Hall and his unscrupulous killing of the Blood Hall's members, he should be a lawless and fearless person. But now, he actually chose to escape. There was an exception. However, on the other hand, this person wasn't a reckless and impulsive young man. Having good talent and powerful means wasn't scary. The scary thing was that he could endure. A person who knew how to endure and had extraordinary talent and means would definitely become a strong enemy in the future. Chase! The black-clothed youth ordered decisively. Hearing this, the horsetail whisk immediately wrapped around the black-clothed youth and chased after Qin Feiyang and the ancient castle. Moreover, the black-clothed youth took out the crystal. Qin Feiyang had been paying attention to the black-clothed youth. Seeing this person take out the crystal, his pupils suddenly shrank. He seemed to be a little nervous. After reading Luo Tianshan's memory, he also knew what this was. This thing was called the Divine Sound Stone, which was used to send messages in the sky cloud realm. Its function was the same as the image crystal. However, compared to the image crystal, the Divine Sound Stone was more advanced. Because the Divine Sound Stone would show the other party's name when sending a message. In other words, after two people established a contract, their names would be left in the Divine Sound Stone. When sending a message to the other party, their names would appear in the Divine Sound Stone. At that time, as long as you release your divine sense and integrate it with the Divine Sound Stone, you would know who was sending you a message. And this was something that the image crystal couldn't do. When the image crystal was sending a message, you wouldn't know who the other party was before seeing the other party's shadow. This was a big difference. In addition, the Divine Sound Stone had another function, and it was very practical. This function was to know whether others were alive or dead through the Divine Sound Stone. For example, Qin Feiyang and the Mermaid Princess both had the Divine Sound Stone and had established a contract with each other. If one party had an accident and unfortunately died, the contract left in the Divine Sound Stone would automatically dissipate. At that time, when they sent a message to the other party, they wouldn't be able to find the other party's contract. Through this point, they could distinguish whether the other party was alive or dead. And now, the reason why Qin Feiyang was nervous was that the black-clothed youth was most likely calling for reinforcements. Because the horsetail whisk and the castle were both sovereign divine weapons, their speed was comparable. So relying on the horsetail whisk alone, it was impossible to catch up with them. And the black-clothed youth certainly wouldn't watch him escape into the eastern continent, so the best way was to call for someone to intercept him. The black-clothed youth was so powerful, so the person who called for reinforcements was certainly not a small character. Even he was worried. The black-clothed youth called for a person who mastered the law of space and time. Because people who mastered the law of space and time could travel through space at will. For example, Old Hai. If this person came, no matter how he escaped, he wouldn't be able to escape. However, half a month ago, Old Hai's physical body was destroyed, and he probably hadn't recovered yet. After all, even an imperishable realm expert needed tens of thousands of years to reconstruct his physical body and divine soul, let alone a sovereign realm expert. And this Old Hai wasn't just a half-step sovereign realm expert. He might not be able to recover even after hundreds of thousands of years. Thinking of this, Qin Feiyang couldn't help but feel relieved. As long as Old Hai didn't come, it would be fine. Buzz. At this moment, a shadow appeared in front of the black-clothed youth. Qin Feiyang's heart, which had just been hanging in the air, suddenly rose again. Because this shadow was the Blood Hall's Hall Master, the blood-clothed old man. How is it? The blood-clothed old man asked. He's right in front. The black-clothed youth spoke and turned the Divine Sound Stone. The blood-clothed old man immediately saw Qin Feiyang in front of him. I thought he was very powerful, but it turns out that he can only run away. The blood-clothed old man snorted. The black-clothed youth said, but the problem now is that I can't catch up with him. Don't worry. I've already expected this. Old Hai will come to help you soon. The blood-clothed old man said. Okay. The black-clothed youth nodded and then said, there are also people from the demon hall. You have to be careful of them. The demon hall, the blood-clothed old man murmured, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. He said, don't worry, I won't give them a chance to interfere. After saying this, the blood-clothed old man's shadow disappeared. Looking at Qin Fei Yang again. At this moment, his face was full of disbelief. Was the person they were talking about really Old Hai? Wasn't Old Hai's physical body destroyed? Why did they ask him to come and help? Could it be, he had already rebuilt his physical body and divine soul? But it had only been half a month. How could it be so fast? At the same time. Eastern continent. In a huge mountain, there was an ancient palace standing on top of a mountain. In the palace, there were two figures sitting opposite each other. One of them was Elder Hua. The person sitting opposite of Elder Hua was a woman in a white dress. She looked to be in her 20s. Her appearance was exquisite and her figure was exquisite. Elder Hua drank his tea while looking at the woman. He smiled and said, Xiao Yun, I have something to ask of you. The woman in the white dress was slightly stunned and immediately lost interest. She put down the teacup in her hand and said, I knew you wouldn't call me here for anything good. Elder Hua smiled embarrassedly. The woman glared at Elder Hua and said, say it. What is it? Elder Hua said, go to the heavenly cloud sea and help me find someone. Who is it? The woman was suspicious. Elder Hua waved his hand and a shadow appeared in the void. This shadow was Qin Fei Yang. However, the doubt in the woman's eyes was even stronger. She asked, who is he? An interesting little guy. Elder Hua smiled mysteriously. The woman said unhappily, why are you being so mysterious? Why don't you go yourself? Also, does the palace master know about this? Of course the palace master knows. It's actually the palace master's idea to let you go. As for me, I won't hide it from you. I can't go. Elder Hua shook his head. You can't go. When the woman heard this, she looked at Elder Hua with even more confusion. Because this person is targeted by the Blood Hall and they are determined to get him. The Blood Hall's palace master might also think that we will interfere, so he should take action. Elder Hua smiled with a hoarse voice. There was a wisp of wisdom in his old eyes. Chapter 3002. Targeted by the Blood Hall. The lady in the white dress was stunned. She looked at Qin Fei Yang's silhouette again with curiosity in her eyes. The Blood Hall was the king of the Western land. Someone targeted by the Blood Hall must be extraordinary. I'll tell you the details when I have time. Elder Hua took out a red sword that was 3 feet long and placed it on the table. He smiled and said, take it with you. It'll be useful at a critical moment. A sovereign divine weapon. The lady in the white dress narrowed her eyes. She looked at Elder Hua and said, you care so much about him. It seems that his origin is not simple. He doesn't have any origin. He's just someone from the lower realm. Elder Hua smiled. Someone from the lower realm? The lady in the white dress frowned. Don't ask. Because I don't know how to answer you. Elder Hua shook his head. You mean, you don't know why the Blood Hall targeted him? The lady in the white dress was suspicious. Yes. Elder Hua nodded. Then why are you helping him? The lady in the white dress frowned. Since he's targeted by the Blood Hall, we naturally have to intervene. Moreover, this lad is not simple. Because he has a sovereign divine weapon in his hands. Elder Hua's eyes sparkled as he said this. A sovereign divine weapon. The lady in the white dress was stunned. If this did not come from Elder Hua, she would not have believed it even if she was beaten to death. Hurry up and go. When you go out, remember to hide it. Don't let anyone see you. After all, there are many spies from the Blood Hall here. Elder Hua smiled. All right. The lady in the white dress stood up and put away the sovereign divine weapon. She turned around and took a step forward, disappearing without a trace. Qin Feiyang, Blood Hall. After Elder Hua watched the lady in the white dress leave, he sat alone in the main hall and pondered. After a dozen breaths. Boom! Suddenly, a terrifying aura descended on the main hall. Elder Hua raised his head and raised his eyebrows. Whoosh! In the next moment, he stood up and appeared in the air above the main hall. He saw a blood-red figure standing in front of him. That's right. This person was the Blood Hall Palace Master. Elder Hua's eyes darkened as he said angrily, "Old thing, you're getting bolder and bolder. How dare you come to my demon palace so brazenly? What is it? Not welcome?" The Blood Hall Master looked at Elder Hua. Elder Hua's eyes sparkled as he suddenly laughed out loud. "Welcome, welcome. Of course, you're welcome. Hypocrite." The Blood Hall Master snorted coldly and asked, "Where is your Hall Master?" "He went out." Elder Hua chuckled. The Hall Master of the Blood Hall was shocked and asked, "Where did she go?" "Why should I tell you? Our Devil Palace and your Blood Palace don't seem to be on such good terms." Elder Hua looked at him mockingly. The Blood Hall's Hall Master said indifferently, "I'm just curious as to what matter would require your esteemed Hall Master to personally take action. As for this matter, it's neither big nor small. I heard that recently, the Heavenly Cloud Sea has been very restless, so the Temple Master wants to go take a look." Elder Hua said with a smile. "She went to the Heavenly Cloud Sea." The Blood Hall Master was shocked and hurriedly asked, "When did she go?" "A few days ago." "Why? Didn't the spies you placed here inform you?" Elder Hua looked at him suspiciously. "Damn it!" The Blood Hall Master cursed and was about to leave. But at this moment, a gentle voice came from the top of a giant mountain not far away. "Old Shui, since you're here, come and have a seat." The Blood Hall Master looked up and then glared at Elder Hua. "Didn't you say that your Hall Master went to the Heavenly Cloud Sea?" Cough cough. "I'm just kidding. Do you really believe me? But since you're so concerned about the Heavenly Cloud Sea, did something really happen there? Or is that young man called Qin Feiyang still in the Heavenly Cloud Sea?" Elder Hua's face was full of ridicule. "Humph." The Blood Hall Master snorted and said, "Let's go and have a seat. You're the one the Hall Master invited, not me. Why should I join in the fun?" Elder Hua shook his head. "But I want to invite you to have a seat. You won't refuse me, right?" The Blood Hall Master said. Do you think I won't give you face? But I'm really busy now, so I won't accompany you." Elder Hua said and was about to leave. But as soon as he took a step, the Blood Hall Master stepped in front of Elder Hua and said, "You don't have to be in such a hurry." "What do you mean?" Elder Hua raised his eyebrows. "It's rare for old friends to meet. Can't you put aside those trivial matters first?" The Blood Hall Master chuckled. Elder Hua's eyes flashed and he nodded. "Okay, I'll give you face and accompany you." "That's right." The Blood Hall Master smiled and stepped aside. He extended his hand and said, "Please." Elder Hua shook his head and walked toward the top of the mountain on the opposite side. The Blood Hall Master's eyes flashed as he followed Elder Hua. The Heavenly Cloud Sea. The chase continued. The distance between Qin Feiyang and the black-clothed youth did not change. But compared to the black-clothed youth who was indifferent and calm, Qin Feiyang was extremely uneasy. This uneasy factor was undoubtedly Elder Hai. Until now, he still remembered how Elder Hai kidnapped the mermaid princess when he was in the Great Qin Empire. At that time, This person directly activated the space-time law and entered the Black Tortoise realm. No one could stop him. So, once this person came, there would be many variables. Qin Feiyang looked at the ancient castle in front of him and asked, "Can we get rid of them?" The ancient castle did not respond. Qin Feiyang was helpless and was used to it. Boom! But before he finished speaking, a terrifying aura suddenly descended in front of him. Qin Feiyang looked up and his gaze suddenly trembled. It was Elder Hai. He was still the same as half a month ago. White hair and white beard, with a celestial aura. He has really reconstructed his physical body and divine soul. Qin Feiyang's eyes were filled with shock. "We meet again." Elder Hai opened his mouth and said, "But this time, there is no Elder Hua to help you." As his voice fell, Elder Hai waved his hand and a space-time crack appeared. "Not good, he wants to go to the Black Tortoise realm again." Qin Feiyang's expression changed. Clang! The ancient castle shook violently and a wisp of time array fell, enveloping Qin Feiyang. Elder Hai's brows raised. This ancient castle actually cut off space-time teleportation. "Thank you." Qin Feiyang was extremely grateful. But it was a little surprising that the ancient castle had such an ability. But why didn't the ancient castle do this back in the Great Qin Empire? After thinking for a while, Qin Feiyang revealed a look of understanding. Back in the Great Qin Empire, no one had seen Elder Hai, so no one knew that he had mastered the space-time law. Since they did not know, they naturally could not guard against it. This was the so-called element of surprise. Thinking of this, Qin Feiyang could not help but let out a long breath in his heart. As long as the ancient castle could cut off space-time teleportation, they would not have to worry about that person entering the Black Tortoise realm again. Moreover, against the current Elder Hai, they could still counterattack. Kill him directly, he doesn't have a sovereign divine weapon, he's not your opponent. Qin Feiyang looked at the ancient castle and said. Boom! The ancient castle's divine aura filled the sky as it charged towards Elder Hai. Naive. Seeing this, Elder Hai's lips curled into a mocking smile. Clang! In the next instant, a 3-foot-long sword appeared. Elder Hai grabbed it in his hand and slashed at the ancient castle. In an instant, the two divine weapons collided, and the ancient castle was actually blocked. How is this possible? Qin Feiyang was shocked and hurriedly looked at the long sword in Elder Hai's hand. When he saw the appearance of the long sword, his face was filled with disbelief. Wasn't this the dragon god's sword? Boom! At the same time, the black-clothed youth behind charged over. The horsetail whisk exuded a destructive aura as it blasted towards Qin Feiyang. The ancient castle protected Qin Feiyang and once again faced the horsetail whisk. With two sovereign divine weapons in front and behind, it had no choice but to face them head-on. Boom! Clang! A soul-stirring and fierce battle unfolded. Qin Feiyang kept staring at the dragon god's sword. This sovereign divine weapon was not unfamiliar to him at all. It was the dragon's sovereign divine weapon. But now, why was it in Elder Hai's hands? Could it be as they guessed, that all of this was Ice Dragon's doing behind the scenes? This damned beast is really like a ghost that won't go away. Crack! Suddenly, an ear-piercing shattering sound rang out. Qin Feiyang looked at the ancient castle in horror and found that there was a crack on the ancient castle. Huh, Qin Feiyang, you didn't expect to fall into this sovereign's hands so quickly, right? The dragon god's sword laughed loudly. You're just a loser, what's there to be arrogant about? Qin Feiyang's face sank. You're courting death. The dragon god's sword was instantly enraged upon hearing this. The battle in the inland sea was a scar that could never be healed. It didn't want to recall that memory. Now that Qin Feiyang had mentioned it again, it was as good as mercilessly tearing open this scar. How could it not be enraged? Terrifying sword projections surged toward the ancient castle in a frenzy. The Horsedale whisk was also unbelievably powerful. The ancient castle and Qin Feiyang were in imminent peril. Qin Feiyang roared in his mind, "Pai Lupi, Theta Wang, prepare some fresh blood for me." Lord! The two of them were startled upon hearing Qin Feiyang's voice. Prepare some fresh blood? It looked like they had encountered another powerful enemy. They had to activate their slaughter zone. Hurry! Qin Feiyang's voice sounded again. Lord, don't be in such a hurry. Long before the battle with the dragons, Miss Fire Lotus told us that you would sooner or later encounter great trouble after entering the Sky Cloud realm. So, she told us to help collect blood whenever we had the time. We also obeyed and have been calling on the creatures of the Black Tortoise realm to collect blood. And after witnessing your battle with the dragons, everyone was more active than before and kept on donating blood. Now, the Western region's blood sea has accumulated a lot. Pai Lupi said. Qin Feiyang froze upon hearing this and immediately sank his consciousness into the Black Tortoise realm's western region. Sure enough. The blood sea that had almost been depleted was now about to be filled. Moreover, there were countless creatures lining up to donate blood around the blood sea. So the creatures of the Black Tortoise realm have been silently helping me all this time. And that girl Fire Lotus, she's really considerate. No matter what, Fire Lotus always considered him first. It was also because Fire Lotus was silently helping him that he could wander outside without any worries. It was hard to imagine what would happen if he left Fire Lotus. Perhaps he couldn't leave this girl now. Chapter 3003. Schwa. In an instant, Qin Feiyang disappeared. The black-clothed youth and Old Hai frowned. Black Tortoise World. Qin Feiyang stood above the blood sea with his eyes closed. He released his perception and looked at the living beings around him. Thank you, everyone. It's the Lord Ruler. Where is he? Why can't I see him? Everyone was stunned and quickly scanned the sky. But Qin Feiyang was above the center of the blood sea. The entire western region was a blood sea. With their cultivation, it was impossible for them to see the center of the blood sea. You don't need to know where I am. In short, I want to thank everyone for silently helping me. Qin Feiyang said. Why are you being so polite? You've taken care of us, we should be the ones thanking you. Furthermore, there's not much we can do. We can only do such a small thing to repay you. Everyone spoke. In your eyes, this is only a small thing. But in my eyes, this is a life-saving matter. All right. I won't be polite with you. In the future, I will work harder to protect everyone, protect this world, and protect our common home. Qin Feiyang said. That's enough. Everyone nodded. Qin Feiyang didn't hesitate and directly activated the slaughter domain. Splash! The blood below turned into huge waves and rushed toward Qin Feiyang. In an instant, Qin Feiyang was drowned in blood. Not good. He must be going to activate the slaughter domain. You guys, quickly think of a way to kill your way into the Black Tortoise world. Outside. Seeing Qin Feiyang disappear, the dragon god's sword pondered for a moment before shouting at Old Hai and Old Hai. Slaughter domain. The two were slightly stunned. There was a trace of suspicion in their eyes. Slaughter domain is a type of divine art. But don't underestimate it. This slaughter domain can allow Qin Feiyang's strength to surpass a sovereign weapon. Back in the ancient world, this lord lost to him like this. The dragon god's sword roared, its tone anxious. It had personally experienced the might of the slaughter domain, so it did not dare to underestimate it. Is it that heaven-defying? However, Old Hai and the black-clothed youth were somewhat suspicious. Because this was too inconceivable. The strength of a sovereign divine weapon was obvious to all. How could it be stronger than a sovereign divine weapon? What kind of joke was this? What kind of divine art was this? They had never seen it before. How could there be such a freakish one? Boom! At this moment, Qin Feiyang appeared. A day outside was equivalent to 1,000 years inside. Therefore, when Qin Feiyang superimposed his cultivation base, not much time had passed in the outside world. However, at this moment, Qin Feiyang was completely different from before. Blood energy swirled around his body, and his killing intent soared to the heavens. Even the sea beasts tens of millions of miles away could feel the monstrous killing intent. It was as if a god of death had descended upon the world. Especially the blood sword in his hand. The blood in the western region's blood sea had almost been sucked dry by him. He was no different from when he was in the inner sea. Damn it! The dragon god sword roared. How is this possible? Old Hai and the black-robed man stared at Qin Feiyang, dumbfounded. At this moment, even they felt a fatal threat from Qin Feiyang. If I could destroy you in the inner sea, I can do the same now. Qin Feiyang held the blood sword and charged toward the dragon god sword. Clang! With a slash of the sword, sparks burst out. The dragon god's sword was immediately forced back. Qin Feiyang also spat out a mouthful of blood. He immediately used the battle symbol art and charged forward again. This is too heaven-defying. Looking at Qin Feiyang's murderous intent, the black-robed man could not help but be stunned. There were very few things that could surprise him. However, at this moment, he was truly shocked by Qin Feiyang. What level of divine art was this? How could it be so heaven-defying? Space-time storm. Old Hai waved his hand, and a huge tornado swept toward Qin Feiyang. Get lost! Qin Feiyang roared and slashed out with his sword. The space-time storm was annihilated on the spot. What? Old Hai's eyes trembled. This was Qin Feiyang's means. No wonder even the dragon god's sword, a sovereign divine weapon, was so afraid. He suddenly felt a little worried. What would happen if Qin Feiyang charged into the Blood Palace? With Qin Feiyang's appearance, the pressure on the castle was greatly reduced. They focused on fighting the horsetail whisk. The two battlefields were dark. Old Hai and the black-robed man could not intervene for a while. They could only watch the battle from afar. The black-robed man turned to look at Old Hai and frowned. Old Hai, who did you provoke? And that sovereign divine weapon, where did you get it? Old Hai was speechless. Look at what you're saying. It's as if we want to provoke him. As for the sovereign divine weapon, it was given to us by someone else. Someone else? I've seen all the sovereign divine weapons in the sky cloud realm. But this one, who is it? The black-robed man was suspicious. This, Old Hai was a little hesitant. You and the palace master are the same. Okay, I won't ask. Anyway, the grudge has already been formed. It's useless to know. Now I just hope that Qin Feiyang won't run to our blood palace like this. Otherwise, I'm afraid our blood palace will be razed to the ground. The black-robed man was quite worried. Don't worry. If he really dares to go to the blood palace, I guarantee that he won't be able to return. Old Hai said. So confident. Why didn't I know that our blood palace has this ability? The black-robed man frowned. In this regard, Old Hai just smiled faintly. Sigh. The black-robed man sighed helplessly. He did not know what these two palace masters were up to. Time passed breath by breath. The battle between Qin Feiyang and the castle and the dragon god's sword and the horsetail whisk became more and more intense. The void here had already turned into chaos, as if heaven and earth had just been created. The sea below was also full of devastation. Countless sea beasts were fleeing to the distant sea. This was a pinnacle battle. A battle of this level, even in the sky cloud realm, didn't happen often. Qin Feiyang. The dragon god sword roared. 99 sky dragons soared into the sky, carrying monstrous hostility as they pounced toward Qin Feiyang. Hate me. That's true. After all, you were once defeated by me. For a sovereign divine weapon like you, it should be a great shame. But, no matter how hard you work, you can't wash away this shame. I, Qin Feiyang, am your nightmare. Qin Feiyang roared and waved the blood-red sword. Waves of blood-red sword qi immediately tore through the chaos and attacked the 99 sky dragons. Boom! The sky fell and the earth cracked. The divine might was shocking. Gradually, the dragon god sword was at a disadvantage again. This made it very angry. Why would such a terrifying human appear? And why would the beings of the Black Tortoise world help him? Because it was obvious that the blood that superimposed the slaughter domain must have been contributed by the beings of the Black Tortoise world. Absorbing blood to increase one's strength, this was the behavior of a demon. Why would they help him? Support him? Were the beings of the Black Tortoise world crazy? No. We can't continue fighting or something will happen. Although it had the horsetail whisk as a helper, Qin Feiyang also had the help of the ancient castle. If they really fought to the death, it would be like the situation in the inner sea, where both sides would suffer. Clang! It shook off Qin Feiyang and rushed to Old Sea like lightning, shouting, "Go! Go!" Old Sea frowned. What else? Can you defeat him now? The dragon god sword roared. Old Sea was silent. Facing the current Qin Feiyang, he really didn't have much confidence. Hurry up. Otherwise, you won't be able to leave. The dragon god sword urged. It knew Qin Feiyang too well. When he went all out, he was more ruthless than anyone. Sure enough. Before it finished its words, Qin Feiyang held the blood-colored sword and charged at it. Hurry! The dragon god sword roared. Clang! But at this moment, accompanied by an ear-piercing sword cry, a sword shadow shattered the sky, breaking through the air like lightning. Qin Feiyang was shocked. When he looked up, a cold light flashed in his eyes. At the same time, Old Sea and the black-clothed youth also looked at the sword shadow. The black-clothed youth also had a trace of suspicion in his eyes, but a smile crept onto Old Sea's face. Just in time. The dragon god sword was also overjoyed. It immediately charged at Qin Feiyang and roared, "Don't run if you have the ability." Qin Feiyang faced the dragon god sword while looking at the sword shadow. That's right. That was the sovereign divine weapon in the hands of the dragon's prince, the ice dragon's sacred sword. Qin Feiyang. From afar, the ice dragon's sacred sword let out a deafening roar. Then, when they arrived at the battlefield, without saying a word, they charged at Qin Feiyang. The situation was reversed in an instant. Facing these two former enemies, Qin Feiyang couldn't block them at all. The blood-colored sword and the slaughter domain were both cracking. But escaping was also impossible. 3 sovereign divine weapons, as well as Old Sea and a black-clothed youth, these two powerful existences, it was difficult for him and the ancient castle to kill their way out. Since he couldn't kill his way out, then he would fight to the death. Even if he died, he would drag them down with him. Qin Feiyang's eyes were filled with madness. His entire body was covered in blood, but he didn't retreat at all. The blood-colored sword continued to clash with the 2 sovereign divine weapons. The terrifying shockwaves of the battle swept through the world. "He's a ruthless person," the black-clothed youth muttered. This old man didn't realize that he was actually such a crazy person. Old Sea whispered. When he was calmer than anyone else. When he was crazier than anyone else. This kind of person was too terrifying. Especially when it was such a young junior. If he was so strong now, what about in the future? He also finally realized that this didn't seem to be a good start. Once this kind of person was provoked, he had to eliminate the roots. Boom! Suddenly, a destructive aura emerged from Old C's body. The black-clothed youth was shocked. Qin Feiyang was also shocked. He looked at Old C from the corner of his eyes. Old C's current aura actually made him feel a trace of fear. This child must die. Old C opened his mouth and stared at Qin Feiyang. His killing intent was bone-chilling. That aura became more and more terrifying, causing the world to tremble. But when you use this move, it will consume a small realm of cultivation, and it will be lost forever. You have to recultivate it. The black-clothed youth said. What? Consuming a small realm of cultivation in exchange for a killer move? And it will be lost forever. Qin Feiyang's heart trembled. This kind of killer move, how terrifying was it?